could definitely have a conversation. If you want to talk about what I got on the board, go ahead and come on up, and we could definitely have that conversation, y'all. Yeah, see what I got here. My question for tonight is, if you are a believer, let's believe in any God, why should I believe yours? Give me a good reason. All right, so I'm live everywhere and I'm recording. Let me change this goal. This goal is wrong. All right. All right, so now I'm live everywhere. I'm live on. Cool, cool. Went ahead and got a guest. How's it going? How do I say your name? BTD. I'm all right. I'm doing okay. You over 18? Gotcha. Are you a believer in any type of God? Mm. No, I do not. Essentially, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I talk about a higher power, we're talking about something like supernatural. If there's something like on this planet, of course, we can say the military is a higher power, or the military of the United States is a higher power than the military of like France or you know Guinea-Bissau or something like that. But we're talking about something like supernatural, something that looks over all of us here on this earth, and souls and spirits and anthropomorphic deities that control our daily lives. That's not something I believe in because I see no evidence of that. Mm. Yeah, when I lived at home, I had a few cats. I mean, yeah, I mean, in a sense that I was more powerful than them, sure. Yeah, I'm in. Mhm. Oh, right. I mean, in a way, because if there were days where I went on vacation and I wasn't home, and my little sister or my parents didn't feed them, they went out and hunted. You know what I mean? Because cats are carnivores, so it's like they don't really need us. But for pets, we're just convenient. Now, if you're talking about dogs, dogs depend on us a little bit more. But even then, even them, they can become pretty feral. You know what I'm saying? So it's when I talk about higher power, I do mean something like supernatural. When it comes to like us, we're not supernatural gods, right? But if an ant can perceive the way that we can perceive, we will probably be, godlike to ants because we're so complex. Now, if you're saying there's something natural out there like that, sure, I could agree that there are possibly, more advanced species of aliens out there, and their technology will probably seem magical to us. But is it supernatural? Is it what all the religious claims? No, I don't believe that. Yeah, yeah, of course. Hmm.
I mean, there's got to be something after this just because I feel like my spirit is too strong and my spirit is not going to die with me. I feel like it's like a little droplet of water that got pulled out of a river or a creek, and one day it's going to have to go back. I mean, just like the water cycle.
Right, and that's what I don't believe. I don't see any evidence of anything after this, so I see no reason to believe that.
So, how do you justify your moral compass?
My moral compass is justified by the consequences, basically. Consequences.
Societal norms and punishment is the only reason you don't go out and rob old ladies or take somebody's stuff or I mean not just that, but I mean you don't knock a lady over the head, drag her back to your house, and now that's your cave woman.
No, I don't do that because I have empathy, like all humans have.
Exactly.
Right. So like empathy is something that
Animals
we do.
don't have empathy.
Yeah, they do, depending on which animal we're talking about. Like social species, every social species except for insects have a degree of empathy. Like cats, dogs, birds, dolphins, elephants, they all have empathy.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, but I'll do it respectfully and I'll back on up, But I believe that the moral compass and the conscience and the little voice in your head that tells you no, don't hurt that person, they're weaker than you, protect them, is that's a little bit of that's everybody's little spark. You got a little bit of God in you, even if you don't want to believe it, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, once we study all social species and we see that they live in societies of interdependence, empathy is something that's gonna naturally develop in that. You know what I mean? Like I said, humans have empathy. All the other great apes, like gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, we've seen them display empathy. Even mice have a degree of empathy, and they have a degree of what equality is and what it isn't. You know, what I mean, they've done experiments on like capuchin monkeys before, where they will give one capuchin a certain treat,
Well, that's
and they will
that's
give another one
literally
another type
like
of certain treat, and they will understand that those treats are unequal. You know what I'm saying? So they understand equality, they understand empathy, just like how we're organisms on this planet. We understand empathy, we understand equality. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that I think is comes from some other supernatural realm. We develop it naturally because we are a species of social interdependence and we need each other. So empathy is something that's just going to develop.
well, I will say that bonobos have empathy in a way different way. If you know what I know, then you know. But
Yeah.
that's a little more of a natural instinct type of empathy. But
Mhm.
I I like I said, man, I just disagree. I mean, I've grown up in a very rural area. I've lived on a farm for a lot of my life, and I don't see a lot of empathy in these animals. I mean, if it was up to them, it's survival of the fittest, and all y'all don't eat.
Yeah, it depends on what animal we're talking about. If they're a social animal, you're gonna find empathy. Like sheep. Sheep actually have empathy.
Well,
They're just not as smart as we are, but sheep have empathy.
well, I mean, I've had pigs for most of my life, and pigs are supposed to be about as close to us, other than the great apes, as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
These things are hateful, brother. These things, like I said, I mean, if it's up to them, if you don't separate them to feed them, then the big one's gonna eat. The other ones are gonna get gored in the stomach, and it is what it is. He'll eat them later.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely wild animals. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to deny that they're definitely wild animals, but they still have like you see them have family structure, and once a group of them get larger and larger and larger, you'll see that they'll form like social structures and everything like that, and they'll understand what's fair and what isn't fair. Like that does happen.
But I mean, if yeah, well, it's been great talking to you, my guy. I'm gonna go ahead and recede,
Mm-hmm.
but good luck with everything, man. And God bless you.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good one. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate everyone who's watching me over on YouTube. Sorry about that sound issue. I just turned my sound on. Sorry about that. All right, y'all. If you disagree with something I have up here, or not even disagree with something I have up here, if you disagree with what I have right here, or not even disagree, or if you want to talk to me about what I have right here, go ahead and come on up. We can go ahead and talk about it. As a matter of fact, yeah, Go ahead and come on up. We can go ahead and talk about this. We can go ahead and either I can either run this one or we can run another one. I might hit a quick reset, as a matter of fact, just so we can try to get some more people in here. I just saw you, Shelly. Hey, Shelly, how's it going? I appreciate you being here, Shelly. All right, y'all, go ahead and like this live up. If you disagree, not if you even just disagree, but if you would like to talk about what I have here on the board, go ahead and hit that guest button and go ahead and come on up and let's have that discussion. Let's have that conversation. If you're watching me over on YouTube, shout out to you. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my Twitch. Let's see who's watching me on Twitch. If you're watching me over on the Twitch side, shout out to you as well. And like I said, if you want to talk to me about what I have up here on the board, go ahead and come on up and let's have a conversation. Let's have a discussion. Hey, Jonesy in the live, y'all. Jonesy is here in the live. Y'all go ahead and what up, Child Free? What up, V? I'm over there watching on my YouTube right now. I do see Child Free and V over on the YouTube. Hey, AGB, what should I be saved from? Go ahead and come on up and talk to me about that. What exactly should I be saved from exactly? That's what I would like to know. Because y'all usually say that you're not trying to be saved or whatever. What do we need to be saved from? Are we being saved from the hell your God is gonna send us to? Oh, that's a good one, Jonesy. Project Pat. Oh man. Don't save us. We don't want to be saved. Don't save us. We don't want to be saved. He is a pastor now. I read that. He is a pastor now. He goes around. I mean, I don't mind what he does because he goes around. I think to like prisons and talks to people about changing their life around, which is cool. But I think you can do stuff like that without needing a religion. You don't necessarily need religion to change your life around in order to become better. Hey, Shelly V said, "What's up?" They can see all the chats because I got the chat going over on my screen on YouTube, so they can all see the chat and they could all say what's up to you. Yeah, I definitely support changing your life around and doing things that are becoming an effective person, becoming a better citizen, or becoming a better human. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think you need religion to do that, but yeah, that's what it is. It's just transfer addiction. You know what I mean? You just go from one addiction to another. You go from one terrible thing to the next terrible thing. Like it's all right, y'all. Shout out to the YouTube comments. Yeah, compulsions. That's what I'm. That's the word I was looking for. Shout out to the YouTube comments. I'm not getting pushed out into the algorithm, am I? I don't think I'm getting pushed out. I don't think TikTok is pushing me out. You think I should shrink the prompt? Give me a second. Let me see. Okay, I see what's going on with the prompt. Give me a second. All right, how's that look now? Let me know how the prompt looks now. It's better? All right, cool. You didn't get a notification? All right, cool. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit a quick reset. Everyone who's out there on the YouTube, y'all stay right there. I just gotta hit a quick reset real quick, and I'm gonna be right back because I didn't get pushed out into the algorithm. Let's see if I get pushed out now. All right, y'all. Y'all go ahead and come on back. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick reset. All right, what up, YouTube? YouTube is just me for now, okay? Over on YouTube is just me for now. I'm gonna hit a quick reset over on my TikTok because it wasn't getting pushed out into the algorithm. I think over on YouTube y'all can still hear me, right? Yeah, over on YouTube y'all can still hear me. All right, so I wasn't getting pushed out into the algorithm over on TikTok, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick reset, just so I can get it back. Okay. Let's go ahead and go live one more time. All right, we back at it. Alrighty, and we are back at it. Alrighty, and we are back at it. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Start liking the live. Go ahead and share that. Like the live and share it out. If you would like to talk to me about what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. As a matter of fact, let me... Boom. Let's go. If you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. Let's discuss. Let's debate. Let's talk about it. If you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. Let's debate and let's talk about it. I appreciate everyone for being here. Go ahead and come back on up. Shelly was good. I see you coming back, Shelly. I appreciate that. Ooh, sorry about that. Shelly, I appreciate you returning. Go ahead and start liking it up. Let's go ahead and try to get us to 1,000 likes. Over on the YouTube, we are back. We are back in action. I just had to reset my my TikTok real quick so we can go ahead and get pushed out into the algorithm and get some discussions going. What's good, y'all? I see y'all joining. I see everybody joining. If you disagree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up and let's go ahead and debate. Let's go ahead and talk about it if y'all would like to talk about it. I get 15 minutes each person, and I do not think there is good evidence for a God. All right, Heem, I'll go ahead and bring you right up.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Heem, how's it going? Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Alrighty, and you said that you think that there is evidence for a God.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock so we can go ahead and talk. What
Awesome.
evidence is there?
Okay, so there's intelligence in the design of the world, right? Or information, should I say?
There's what?
Information, like in DNA and physics and math.
Information is just a word that we came up with to understand, like the phenomenon that we see out there in the world. It's not a thing unto itself. It's just how we describe things.
No, it's cohesive and repeating.
What do you mean?
Information is data.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is those words aren't things onto themselves. They're just how we describe what we're seeing.
Oh, are we going like a Occam's razor or doubt everything?
I'm not going out of doubt everything. I don't doubt information. What I'm saying is that the way that you're using information is that it's a thing onto itself, but it's not. It's just how we describe what we're seeing.
Okay, is what we're seeing random?
Some of it is.
Like what?
Like the stars, essentially. All the stars are random. They're in complete random places.
I wouldn't say they're random. I just say that they're calculable, but we just aren't able to calculate it.
Then if we're not able to calculate it, how do you know they're calculable?
But no, everything is. Like, if you think about it in theory, like if I dropped let's say I reset the universe to the Big Bang exactly how it was, and every single detail was exactly the same. The way the particles were, the air, the timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we redid it exactly the same way, would the stars end up in the same place?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you swiped out or if you got a call, but If you swiped out, then if you swiped, I can't hear you. If you got a call, go ahead and come on back. All right, Eon, I'm gonna go ahead and suggest that you come up
I'm
next.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to. Did my mic cut out?
Yeah, cut out because I think you got a call.
Oh yeah. No, I'm good. I'm sorry.
All right, not a problem. All right, but yeah, if we redid the Big Bang, who knows if everything would end up in the same place? We don't even know if hydrogen would exist. Like I'm not sure
If
what
we
you
go
mean.
scientifically, it wouldn't because all the variables are the same. So if we're going
Hmm.
from a pure reason scientific thing, you will never find randomness anywhere. Like randomness is actually a projection of our inability to calculate all the variables.
Oh,
Does that
so
make sense?
so you're saying that everything that was gonna happen, everything that is gonna happen was already gonna happen. It was already set from the Big Bang.
Well, no, I'm saying that if we are like if I reset all the variables, the stars would end up in the same position. Like there's no reason for them to be different
How do you know that?
because there's no other because all the variables are the same. We're
So
doing the same action again.
so
Like if I throw a ball, let's say I throw a football and then I reset and it lands on a spot and I reset every single thing, the air, the sun, the wind, my arm, I threw it exactly the same to the millimeter, right? It would land in the same exact spot.
not necessarily because there's experiments on this already where we see that doesn't happen.
Well, they can't actually do that. They can't reset every single variable.
But I mean, like they can't. The thing is, they can't. When you say they can't reset every single variable, like what do you mean?
Like they can't replicate to every single detail that exact scenario of me throwing the ball again. Does that make
No,
sense?
they
'Cause
but they can replicate every single detail of like how particles split each apart. They can do that, and they found out that those time frames and those speeds that they go at are completely random.
so randomness is like
It's a feature of the universe.
it's a real. Are you saying it's real?
Randomness is real, yeah.
So I would say that you believe randomness is God
No, I don't.
because randomness is the creative force in what we're seeing.
When you say creative force, what do you mean by that?
Like we came, the reason we're here is randomly, right? Or is that what you think? Is that what you? Are you just being completely neutral on everything?
What do you mean? Like when you say the reason we're here is randomness, that sentence doesn't make sense to me.
We're randomly here. Is that true or false?
Like us as human beings,
Yeah, or matter in general.
matter in general, possibly. I'm not sure.
So I would say that you maybe believe randomness is God.
No, but the thing is like
Godlike force.
what I'm saying is like the randomness or causality is not an agent that creates anything. It just is just a feature of our universe.
I would argue that there is no instance of randomness anywhere to be found, and it's completely mental projection.
Oh.
Like if I had a little kid and we did something very complex math problem, he would look at us and be like, we were just writing random numbers on the board." But
Yeah,
he
of
can't
course, but
actually calculate all of it.
because he doesn't understand axioms yet. When he does understand axioms, he'll
Then
be
it'll
able to
make
see
sense
it.
to him.
They don't make sense to it. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to the universe, you're saying that we can predict things like so. If nothing is random in this universe, you're saying that we can predict the future. Then
If we have all the possible information, yes, we could predict what will happen in the future.
all right,
And
but
that's what I'm saying. God knows everything, right?
right, but what I'm saying is that this is an assertion without any reason to believe that's true.
There's no reason to believe it's false.
That
Because it will
is
keep going. Like if we got to the point where we can, like that child couldn't calculate the math problem,
right.
we will get to the point where we can calculate where the stars are going to be.
But the thing
which we
is,
can
you
already do, right?
but the thing is, you in order to believe something is not that there's no reason for it to believe it's false. That's fine, but that's like unfalsifiable thing. We
Okay.
need to have a reason why do we to believe that is true. Like for example, if I told you that I have 10 million in the Bahamas right now, you have no reason to believe that it's false. But you're not going to quit your job and follow me to Bahamas, are you?
No.
Because I didn't give you a reason to believe that's true. So we need a
Okay.
reason to believe something is true, not just I'm going to believe it because I can't prove it to be false.
I'm sorry. The reason I went on this is because I was talking about information. Okay. Let's just agree on what we know with 100% for certain. Like there's no doubt about it, right?
No doubt about what.
Well, let's find common ground on what there is no doubt about. Like, do you believe that I'm a real person speaking to you?
Yeah, I have no choice but to believe
No. Is there 0% doubt in that?
that. 0%?
Would you bet your life on that?
Maybe, yeah.
That's a little bit of doubt.
Yeah, it's a little bit of doubt. I would say
Let's cut it
99.
lower.
I would say nine. I'm 99% sure that I'm speaking to a real person.
Okay, let's cut it lower. Are you 100% sure that you're a real person?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure I'm a real person.
And this is not a dream or a dreamlike state.
It's not a dream or a dream-like state. No,
Yeah. At all.
at all.
There's 0% chance of that being the case.
Well, actually, no, I don't know that.
Okay, let's go even lower then. You know that there is existence.
Existence, yeah. As I'm receiving a constant stream of information into my brain. So yeah, existence is a thing.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, even if I'm a brain in a vat, there's still existence because
There's
I'm a
still
brain in a
layers
vat.
behind it, and there's still existence.
Right.
So we would say that is God. That point of awareness of being existing, the awareness of being existing is God. Does that make sense?
No, existence doesn't prove a God.
No, existence, the fact that there is existence, that's what you know for certain, right?
Right, but if we know for certain that there is existence, that doesn't imply a God.
No, that existence, the awareness of that existence is God. The
How-
awareness that you have, that you're feeling right now, you feel it?
So awareness of existence is God. Why is that not just not awareness?
God is the only one who's aware, right? He's like, well, I would say in my belief that he's sharing the light of, there's only one mind. Like we're sharing the same mind. Does that make sense?
You have to actually show a God exists first,
What do you mean by show?
because
It's inherently known. But I'm saying like
But it's
like
not.
the fact that you know this, that is the God that I'm talking about.
but I'm
right?
saying that's a claim without evidence, bro. You're just saying that existence, no awareness of existence is a God, and therefore God is knowable because you know existence. That's completely circular. Like, that's nonsense.
It's the only thing you know. Like we just found out in every single layer of
All right. So just
everything else.
because we know that existence is a thing, that does not mean that existence is God. You're just equating those two things.
No, that's the only thing you know.
Right. The only thing we know is that we exist. That doesn't
Not even
mean
we.
that- the only thing that we know is that you yourself exist. That doesn't
Not
mean
even me. It's just
that-
there is.
The only thing that we know is that existence is a thing. That does not imply a God.
And I think when Moses asked, it's in the Bible, when Moses asked God, what should I tell him? Who should I tell him that you are? He says, say that I am that I am, right?
So
Well, so I'm saying that that's what
I
it is.
mean,
That
Uncle
personal
Ben
identity.
said, "With great power comes great responsibility." Should I worship Uncle Ben? Like, come on, bro. What do we say?
No, because you will see Uncle Ben die. Uncle Ben's not the one who created you, right?
All right, but what I'm saying is that you actually have to show that there's a God first. You just can't say existence or awareness of existence, therefore God. That's a non sequitur.
I think we all know that God is real, right? And it's like
No, I don't.
inherently known.
I don't know that.
Well, God is not something that exists in the outside world.
God is not something that exists in the outside world. How do you know?
No, he's not.
You have to
something that you
actually
can
show
see or
God
touch or
exists
smell
first,
or
bro.
taste.
All right, you're missing a step. Like I said before, you actually have to prove that there's a God that exists first. Then you can say where and what He is.
Okay, I'm gonna say that my position is God is self-evident.
It's not.
It's self-evident as that I'm tired. I can't prove it to you, but it's known to me. Like I can't like if I tasted an orange and I said, that tastes good. That's 100% true to me. I like the way the orange tastes. Does that make sense? That's self-evident. I didn't need someone to explain that to me.
So God is just your opinion, man.
No, it's self-evident to everyone.
But it's not.
I
Because
would say this, and I would say that
an orange can taste good to you, but it can taste disgusting to me.
someone
So
else,
saying-
yeah. So it's self-evident to you that it tastes good, right?
Right, it'll be self-evident to me, but
You
what
didn't
you're
need
saying,
someone to demonstrate that to you in an
right?
experiment.
But like exactly. But again, that's just your opinion, man.
No, you have direct experience of the orange.
Right, but again, is the whether it tastes good or not is just your opinion, man.
Yeah. So I have direct experience of not existing and then existing.
No, you don't. How do you have direct evidence of not existing? Makes no sense.
There was a point I didn't exist and now I do.
Yeah, there was a point that you didn't exist and now you do, but you don't have experience of that. You
I
don't
have direct experience of that. What do you mean? I
on,
remember when I
wait,
was a kid and I would gain
You-
self-awareness.
yes, exactly. You remember when you were a kid, but you existed How do you have experience of non-existence? That makes no sense.
No, I experienced the point of being non-existent to existent. There was a line there, right, where I became existent.
Yeah, when you were born.
Yeah, so that to me is like self-evidence. I was created by the creator. Like the same way, I don't need someone to demonstrate that to me. The
Nigga,
same way I
what?
taste that orange and I'm like, it's good.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, and
You
that's
have no
irrefutable.
experience of when you did not exist. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's even more profound. I did not exist and now I exist. That's 100%.
Right, but
Do
what
you
I'm
agree
saying
with
is that
did that happen to you too?
right. You there was a point where you didn't exist. Before 1987, I was not a person. I didn't exist.
Yeah.
When August of 1987 hit, I did get experience because I did exist. What I'm saying is that before that time in 1977, I had no experience of 1977 because I didn't exist back then. You're saying that you have experience of non-existence. That's nonsense.
No, I have come into existence. Right? I'm not eternal. Are you eternal?
No one's eternal.
So everyone came into existence.
Yeah, we all came to existence.
So that's what I mean by it's self-evident to everyone. Like it's like imagine like I have a box that you can't look inside my box, but
It's
I'm
se-
looking at it and it's the same thing in all of our boxes.
It's self-evident that we exist. That does not imply that a God exists as well.
Well, it's self-evident to me that I did not exist and now I exist.
Well, that's just your opinion, man.
Well, I was something that existed brought me into existence. It
Yeah.
couldn't have been any other way.
Yeah, your
Because
mom
I did
and
not
dad.
will myself to
Yeah,
exist.
your mom and dad having hanky panky time.
Yeah, and that's fine. We can rewind that all the way back. We can keep going. There's a chain of contingent things, and eventually we're going to have to get to the self-sufficient, the one who is not contingent on anything, right?
What do you mean the one who is not contingent on anything? How do you know there is a one that's not contingent on anything? You need to
There
show
has
that
to be
first.
because we can't have
No,
an
there
infinite
doesn't.
chain of
Sure, you can.
because
Because if we can
and where
have
did it begin?
if we can
'Cause
have
we
some
experience time.
if we can have something that's not contingent on any hold on, you just said that there's something that's not contingent on anything. You describe it
Yeah.
as God. If that's
There
the
must be.
case, there must be. So how come the universe can't be that same thing?
Because we know that the universe is changing and expanding,
Exactly. Does your
which
God
means it's
change and
contingent on
expand?
something to expand, right?
No.
Where is it? What is it expanding into?
We don't know.
Exactly. There's something else out there we don't know. And it'll eventually, even if there's a million links between the universe till we get to the self-sufficient thing, there is that thing still exists. It's not infinite.
That doesn't imply a God, bro.
The thing that is self-sufficient is God, regardless of what it is.
But you haven't shown that there is a thing that's self-sufficient. How come the universe can't be self-sufficient?
Because it's expanding. It's changing. If
So?
it was self-sufficient, it can't change. It can't be subject to change.
Yeah, it can.
Then it means it's contingent on other variables to change. Right.
It's just the laws of physics, bro. That's just how the laws of physics work.
Well, I would say that you're just calling the laws of physics God.
I'm not.
Like you just called God a different name.
I'm not.
Really, you disagree with that?
Yeah, I'm disagreeing with that. I'm
I
not
would
calling
say
the-
I
I'm
would
not
say that
calling
we
the
were
laws.
very logical.
I'm not calling the laws of physics God. I'm saying that the laws of physics just are. They're just how this universe works. That doesn't make it a God.
That is God. I say God just is.
Okay, so you're a pantheist then. God is the universe.
No, I'm saying you said that. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that because so what is God then? Because what I said was that the laws of physics is simply how our universe works. You're
I'm-
saying that's what God is.
That self-sufficient thing that caused all other things.
What
That is
self-sufficient thing? You
God. That's God. That's
you
the
have-
definition of God.
You have to prove there's a self-sufficient thing first, and you haven't. You're just saying that one exists.
I proved it logically by saying it can't be an infinite regress because
Yes, there-
everything
yes, there
that's
can.
contingent is contingent on something else.
Yes, there can because your thing is an infinite regress.
No, it stops at a point. It stops at God.
Okay, so mine
not
stops at
infinite.
the universe.
So you're calling universe God.
No,
That's
I'm
what
not calling the
saying.
universe.
That's
I'm
my
calling,
definition. How would
I'm
you
calling
define
the
God?
universe the universe. I don't
How would you
define a
define
God
God?
because I don't think a God exists.
Well, what's the word we're using? What are we talking about?
We're talking about if your God exists or not.
No. What does the word God mean?
I'm talking about the word God we're talking about is the this deity anthropomorphic nature that's creates everything and is part of everything, etc., etc. Or how
No, why
how
does it have to be
Christians-
anthropomorphic?
So you hold on, you're saying that okay, so how are you defining God then?
I'm defining God as the self-sufficient being that created everything,
Is
or
it-
everything is contingent upon.
Is it an agent?
Is it a what?
Is it an agent?
What do you mean, agent?
Is it a conscious agent? The way that you are, the way
Yes,
that
it
I
has a
am.
will. It has a will, yeah.
Okay.
Because we have a will. That's the only reason we know
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah. That has no evidence.
It does have an evidence because we have it. It can't come from nothing.
Okay.
If you
Our will
observe
does. Our
everything,
will doesn't come from nothing. Or we evolved it, bro. Like we evolved. We're a social species. We evolved all that.
evolved, yeah, okay, but evolving like it had to be there in the beginning to exist. Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean it had to be there? What it
Well,
had to be
science
there?
would say that
Hold on,
everything
wait.
that
Let's
existed was
hold
in
on.
the Big Bang.
Stop. What
Okay.
is it? What is the it that you're talking about here? You're talking about our will?
Existing. Us, creation. That's the it I was referring to.
What? No, we didn't always exist. We evolved from other life forms.
No, but the aspect of will.
The
It
aspect
couldn't have
of
just
will.
come
What do
out
you
randomly,
what do you mean by
right?
the aspect of will? Like our agency doing what we want?
Yeah, the fact that we have that.
We evolved that, bro. Because
So
every single
it came
organism
randomly?
every single organism out there has a will.
No, I would say an organism, yeah, living thing, yeah.
Yeah, all of them have it.
Yeah.
We evolved that.
Okay, so how would that have come out of the case if it wasn't random? Like you're saying it's not random, and you're saying that there's no God.
What are you talking about?
Did you say you said there was no random, or you said that random? Are we created randomly? That's why I asked in the beginning. It was like, are we
I don't
here
think
randomly?
that we're created. You're the one who keeps saying that we're created. We're not created. We evolved.
Okay, if I go and meet my wife and we have a child, is that child created? I witnessed it happen, right?
Yeah, the child was created by us, but what I'm saying is that the way that you're using created and the way that we're talking about created and the fact that two people can come together and have hanky panky time are completely different.
Well, the word it's just semantics. Like created, I'm saying is like we're contingent. Let me use that word. We depend on other things to survive, to exist.
Yeah, of course we do. We're social interdependent species.
Yeah. So the fact that we have will, I'm saying it must have been there in the creator aspect. And science will say that the Big Bang, in that tiny singularity, everything that could have existed was in there, right?
Yeah. So
Where else would it come from?
Well, some would say that, but when I'm saying what I'm saying to you is that the fact that we have will, the fact that we have agency, you're saying that existed before we were even humans, and you don't know if that's the case or not.
I'm saying that if we have it, this is my my logical belief that if we have it, the creator has it. I believe in God, right?
You have to show that there's a creator first.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I use the contingency argument. There's no other way it could be because you're still believing that God, but you're just calling it a different name.
No, I'm
Like
not.
you called it the universe, you called it the laws of physics.
No, I
You're
don't.
attributing the attributes of God to those things.
No, I'm not. You're saying.
Yeah, 'cause-
You're saying. Hold on. You're saying that the God that you're describing has agency. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that the way that physics works, there is no agency. It's just how the way
So how
things
can
are.
so that means that means that nothing we're saying is logical, because if we were created from randomness, like no agency laws of physics, how that means we're a product of randomness, which means the words we're
Probably.
saying don't mean anything.
We probably are. All words are made up. They're just sounds that we make out of our mouths in order to understand and communicate with each other.
Yeah, so nothing matters, and everything we're saying is ridiculous, and this is like there's like a void that we just live in, right?
All right, Heem. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. We're not getting anywhere.
Wait.
I appreciate you being up here though. All right. So who do we have next? We have here Melanie. Hey, Hakeem, Hatim, I'm sorry. Hatim, I appreciate you being here, bro. I'm just doing one-on-one for now. Once I run out of guests, we're gonna go ahead and bring up people, all right? But I appreciate you being here. All right. Melanie, how's it going?
It's going good.
All right. Are you over 18 and a believer in any type of God?
I'm a believer in God.
All right, cool. I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. Do you think there is?
I do.
What evidence is that?
Well, first, let me just say, how do you think we were created in this world?
What do you mean created?
How are you born? How are the people before you born?
They all had hanky panky time, and I was born.
What was it like in the beginning?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What was it like when there was just two people in this world?
There was never a point where there are only two people in this world.
Then how are you alive? How are the people created before you created? What was the
I
beginning?
just
What was
said
the
that.
very, very beginning?
There was no very beginning of humanity. Evolution doesn't work that way. There was no Adam
Then
and Eve.
when did we start?
When did who start?
This world.
4.5 billion years ago, when the accretion disk of the sun all amalgamated into together to form the Earth.
So you're saying the Big Bang created the Earth?
Are we having a science discourse? I'm not sure what you're asking here.
I'm just saying, how do you think the universe was created?
The universe expanded from the Big Bang.
Really?
Yes.
So you think two molecules created the Earth to where you can breathe and how your lungs and organs work? You think it just created that perfectly?
That's not how the Big Bang works. Do you understand how what the Big Bang is?
Explain it.
No. I'm asking you first. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, where two things came together and created this whole universe.
Okay, so you don't know what it is.
Okay, then explain it.
No, I'm gonna need you to actually go research it. I'll wait for you. As a matter of fact, go ahead and swipe out and type in Big Bang cosmology. Go ahead and do that right now. If you're in front of a laptop, you can do it then too. No, I'm being dead ass because I'm tired of y'all doing this. Yeah, exactly. I am tired of y'all doing that. Y'all come up here and thinking that you all right. All right, Kepra, you're up next. Yeah, he was probably a fetus. Kepra, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. So, no, I don't think there's no good evidence. I mean, if you ask a person who believes in the God,
Mhm.
and you ask them if there was any other thing other than the book that you read that talks about God, is there any other thing that proves you that this God exists? And were you taught this God through your upbringing and the pointing out other things in the book? And if that never existed, how would you then believe in this God?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. All right, Kepra. I appreciate you being up here. I don't think you're against anything that I'm saying, but I appreciate you. All right, so we have. Oh God. What do you want back?
The way you got nervous, didn't you? You got nervous, man. Hey, listen.
All right, part
Okay, we're
four.
gonna, we're gonna have a civil. We're gonna have a civil. We're gonna have a great conversation, man. Nobody's gonna talk over nobody. You know what I mean? We're gonna have a nice back and forth. So it's not even that type of energy, sir. I mean, the reason I guess you made that reaction when you saw me is because um everything that we talked about last time came to your head, and you realized that everything that you're talking about is false, right? So so let's talk about your religion, sir.
All
Okay, and
right,
it is a religion.
all right. So, Divine, how's it going?
It's going good.
How you doing? Are you over 18, and do you disagree with what I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm over 18, and I disagree. Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't think there's evidence for a God. Why do you think there is?
Cause how can you explain consciousness then?
Consciousness is an emergent property of the neurons and chemicals in our brain.
And so, so you don't think that, that's a little weird that can happen,
No.
or just or what about? Have you ever heard of that theory where it's basically or not a theory? It was basically like a test that ran where they basically seen that every time that a person would look at like a molecule or like the way the light moved, and I forgot how they looked at it, but they looked at how the light wave particles moved, and every time somebody looked at it, they would go like crazy and in different places, but then when somebody looked at it, it would go into a wave. So if that's just it's called the double observer method or something
You're
like
talking about
that.
a double slit experiment?
Yes.
Yeah, the double slit experiment. The thing with that is that journalism, like in lay people, they don't exactly know how to explain it. If you actually listen to how a scientist explains it, it actually doesn't imply anything that people have said before. All it really is that when you interact with a particle, you actually have to physically, like, not physically, but interacting with a particle involves you actually like touching the particle. So that's the reason why the particles like they moved from a wave to something else. You know what I'm saying? It's really a complicated tool to
But
explain.
how are
You should ask a
you? How
physicist.
are we interacting it with it by just looking at it?
Lasers. We're not just looking at it. That's the thing. You're not just actually looking at it and then you're interacting. Interacting with it involves actually pointing at it with lasers.
Okay. Well, that's the only question I had.
Okay. Do you think there's evidence for a God?
That was my question.
All right, cool. Not a problem. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Kangaroo, if you would like to come on up, go ahead and come up because I can't invite you up for some reason. And yeah, back. The reason why, no, in the back, I'm not bringing you back up, bro. I'm bringing you back up. Like there's never a conversation with you. There's literally never a conversation with you, so I'm not bringing you back up. All right, y'all. Let's see if we have any more guests. Yeah, you need to like go into quantum physics to understand that. The entire double slit experiment has been like it's been like falsely repeated as some sort of spiritual thing for like years now. But if you actually talk to someone who understands particle physics, they'll explain to you that it doesn't imply what people have been saying that it is.
So how you doing, man?
Hey, our team, how's it going, bro?
I'm good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just doing one-on-one for a bit until we
No,
can.
I
bring
know. I
people up.
got you. I respect it.
Yeah. So how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. It's just funny, man. Like I saw this video yesterday about the Dunning-Kruger effect,
Yep.
and it's like it explains so much. And it's funny because I realized that even in my younger self, right? Like everybody is a victim to Dunning-Kruger, but a lot of people just don't understand it when they're the victim themselves, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's so funny. Like people are like they're more confident than the experts in the field when they have no idea what they're talking about.
No,
About what they're
like literally
so
no
funny.
idea what they're talking about. Like
It is so funny.
it's just hilarious. Like I don't.
Yeah, two molecules combined together to create the universe.
Like what the hell are you talking about, bro? No, that's really why I did that. I told him to swipe out and type in Big Bang and come in and tell me what it says because I knew he didn't know what he was talking about.
This guy thinks atom bombs is the universe.
That's absolutely insane. Like I honestly don't get it. Why do y'all talk about things that y'all don't that know nothing about, bro?
Yeah, and it's so funny, right? Because like after I gained knowledge or like some level of expertise in one field, it allowed me to be like, oh my God, how much I didn't know about this before. So now I'm able to hold back about other fields or like, I'm not sure. Like, I feel like all you need is some level of expertise in one field. And then for you to be humble about, oh shit, I didn't have no idea what I was talking about before.
Yeah,
Now that I know this
exactly.
stuff. And then like any conversation you can have, you can say, well, hold on. I know how I can not know stuff because now I know this thing about this. So I'm not an expert in this field. So I always say like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll get back to you when I find out. Something like that.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
seems like, yeah, people don't want to do that. I don't know. I don't get it.
That's literally just the smart thing to do. Like if you don't know something, just say you don't know. Like honestly, if I don't know, I'm like, yo, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if you don't know, you don't know, bro. And like I think people are so afraid of that answer, the answer of, I just don't know. And just hold on. Let me bring up Suffermain up here for a quick. All right, Suffermain, go ahead and come on up. We can go ahead and have a discussion because it seems like you would actually have to have a talk. I don't like talking to comments. Hot team, is okay. I'll drop you for a bit. Let me talk to Suffermain and I'll bring you back up.
No,
Yep, no problem.
I appreciate you, hot team. All right, Suffermain, you said Christ is king and the evidence for God is creation. I don't think we were created or this universe is a creation. Why do you think that's the case?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So you believe in the Big Bang, right?
Yes, the Big Bang happened and there's evidence of that.
You know the creator of the Big Bang was a Catholic priest to help explain creation theory.
No,
You
it
know that,
was
right?
no. George
So
Lamette. Hold on, wait, hold on, hold
Google's
on.
the
Let me finish.
godfather.
Let me finish.
Go
George
ahead.
Lamette was a Catholic priest, but he didn't come up with the Big Bang to explain creationism. It's because
So
he was
why
a
would
it's because he was a physicist, and they were trying to explain. They were trying to look at the universe and see if things were expanding or not, and he noticed that there was an expansion. So that's why he came up with the mathematics that showed that the universe was in fact expanding.
right,
Because it was a
right,
debate at during that time if the universe was static or expanding, and he was on the side of physicists who said that it was expanding. He wasn't the only physicist that said it was expanding. He was just the one that came up with the math to show that it was.
right, correct. So my point being is you don't have to like the Big Bang could be true. It's obviously still a theory because there's a lot of holes in it. It's not like a law of
So
physics or anything. It's a theory that we use that we've adopted because there's no other good answer for anything besides creation.
let me ask you a
But
question. What does scientific theory mean?
what does it mean?
Yeah, what is the definition of a scientific theory?
Uh, I don't know the definition like verbatim, but my guess would be it's like basically the most practical answer for the evidence that we have at this point.
Right, a well-substantiated explanation of the actual natural world supported by a large body of evidence and rigorous testing. That's the full definition. So when we talk about a
Yeah, but
scientific theory, hold on, wait, hold on. When
theories
you
get
say,
voted
hold
on
on, hold
all
on,
the time.
hold on. When you say something is just a theory, it's not just a theory like the way that we use in colloquial language. It has actual evidence and testing behind it. So the Big Bang does have evidence and testing behind it. When you say there are a bunch of holes, what holes
Right,
are you talking about?
right, but there's many holes. You want me to just go over like one of the biggest ones or like
Go
one of
ahead.
the easiest ones to point out?
Go ahead.
How do you get life from non-life?
That has nothing to do with the Big Bang, my friend.
Well, that has to do with
This is
creation.
what I'm this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I'm talking about when remember how Team was up here. He said people don't know what they're talking about. You just proved that life from non-life has nothing to do.
I don't know what
Hold
I'm
on, wait,
talking
hold on,
about
hold on,
because
hold on,
I
hold
talked
on.
about something else.
Listen, Sir Fermain. Life has nothing to do with the Big Bang. Nothing. So saying that that's a hole in the theory was stupid because they have nothing to do with each other.
The only reason
That's like
I
saying
mentioned
that's like
the
saying
Big Bang is
that's like
because you
saying
guys were talking about the Big Bang when I joined your channel.
right,
That
but
wasn't my evidence for God.
right, but when you said that the hole in the theory of the Big Bang is that life comes not there's nothing no such thing as life from non-life, that was stupid because that has nothing to do with the Big Bang. That's like saying basketball is a stupid sport because Verizon is the biggest mobile carrier in America. That makes no sense.
Right, but I wasn't giving support for the Big Bang thing. I was just letting you know the Big Bang was created by a man that believed in God.
I
Because you guys were
understand.
talking about the Big Bang.
I understand that. We all understand that the Big Bang was created by a Catholic priest, but he didn't create it. He didn't come up with the math because he was trying to prove the Bible story real. That's not what they were doing.
Okay.
And what you said that the hole in the Big Bang theory is that life can't come from non-life has nothing to do with the Big Bang.
Oh, so I misspoken because I'm like, what are you talking about? The hole in the theory of evolution from the Big Bang being the beginning of of basically our existence.
Big Bang and evolution have nothing to do with each other, bro. Big Bang is cosmology, evolution is biology. Those are two different subjects.
Right, but one has to come before the other.
One has to come
And
before the
and
other,
if you
but that
don't
does
believe in creationism, then you believe that we were all in one microatom, and then there was an explosion,
no,
and then we got here at one
no,
point.
no. These are two different fields with two different bodies of evidence. If you were completely sure that the Big Bang is wrong tomorrow, evolution will still have evidence. If you were to show that evolution is debunked tomorrow, Big Bang will still have evidence. These are two different things.
Maybe if you're an atheist, but for people who believe in God, everything is creation.
And this is what we're saying about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, I have no idea what y'all talking about.
So what do I know what I'm talking about?
because the Big Bang and evolution don't have anything to do with each other. Saying that we believe in God so they do is stupid. That's like saying basketball and Verizon Wireless are the same thing. They're not. Two completely different fields.
Bro, I have no idea what you're trying to get at. So
What I'm trying to get at is that evolution and the Big Bang are two different things that have two different lines of evidence. If you were to show that one of them is
right,
wrong
but there are
tomorrow,
two different
if you were to
things
show,
that
if you were to show,
atheists
if you were to
use
show
to
that one of them,
discredit
if you were to
creationism.
show that one of them is wrong tomorrow, the other one will still have proof. Let's
Yeah, that
say,
has nothing
let's
to do.
let's say, let's
That
say,
has
let's
nothing
say,
to do with what
let's
I'm
say.
talking about.
But you just said that they're the same thing because you believe in God.
If you believe in God, you believe everything was created by one entity.
I understand that, but that doesn't mean that evolution and the Big Bang are the same thing. Saying that
When
life,
did I say evolution and the Big Bang are the same thing?
because you said life can't come from non-life. You're
No.
talking about abiogenesis. That has nothing to do with the Big Bang. And then when I ask you what's the,
Right.
and then when I ask you how, one has to come up from another.
I'm criticizing what atheists believe. I'm not conflating two different things that have nothing
Yeah,
to do
you
with each
are.
other.
Yeah, you are. Because when I asked you what is the hole in the Big Bang, you said life can't come from non-life, which has nothing to do with the Big Bang. You're conflating the two.
I'm criticizing
No, you
what
conflated.
atheists believe.
Atheism has nothing to do with belief. Atheism is a lack of belief.
Okay, bro. So what do you believe?
Depends on what you're asking. I believe that Kendrick Lamar won the battle with Drake.
How did we get here?
What do you mean?
How did everything come about?
Be specific. What does that mean?
Where does life come from? And
Life
I
is
guess
likely an emergent property.
More specifically, where does consciousness come from?
Life, consciousness, like I told the person before, is likely an emergent property of the neurons and chemicals in our brain.
So it's an illusion.
Neurons and chemicals in our brain are not illusions.
Right, but the
Do you understand what
ability to
you understand
have
what an,
consciousness.
you understand what an emergent property is?
Explain.
An emergent property is essentially elements that come together to form something new. For example, fire. Fire is an emergent property, right? Like this microphone is an emergent property. It's different things that come together to form something completely new that the other parts that don't have. For example, fire is an emergent property because like when you take the elements of fire that create fire, they're all separate entities that don't have what fire have. So when you put them all together, they create something new, which is fire. Like heat, combustion, a fuel source, all those things can create fire, but by themselves, they don't have the properties that fire has. So when I say that consciousness is an emergent property, the chemicals in the neurons in our brain by themselves don't have the properties that consciousness has. But when they come together, it creates a new property. That's what consciousness is. It's probably the same thing with life too. Life is probably an emergent property. Like if you just look up emergence, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, I don't understand how that disproves God's existence.
I didn't say it disproves God's existence. I'm saying that it doesn't show that God exists, and it could show that our consciousness and life itself could just be a natural property of this planet, of this universe, as a matter of fact.
Yo, take it easy, man. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, Unc, that's correct. Air, fuel source, and ignition. You're correct, Unc. But yeah, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that it disproves God. I'm saying that both consciousness and life has
your perspective is like the experience of being alive is just like a chemical. I don't know exactly how to phrase it. Like a chemical reaction, basically.
Yeah, life is chemicals. Life at its most basic is just chemicals. We're all chemicals.
Right, but to be able to experience life,
consciousness
is not anything spiritual. It's
an emergent property. It's material. It's an emergent property because the moment our brain shuts off, there is no consciousness.
Right. body.
Right, and we know, and consciousness has never been shown to exist without a body, or without a brain, actually.
Right. I guess, bro. I guess. It's just a horrible way to, like, it's a horrible perspective, bro. Because if you believe in only material, basically,
How is it a bad
like,
perspective?
well, like the reason, like, where does morality come from then, you know?
It comes from our empathy. As a matter of fact, I'll explain. I think this is just my personal hypothesis, but I think everyone decides morality the same way that I look at it. The most basic point is empathy. Empathy, degrees of harm, consequences, and empathy,
Right,
degrees
no,
of
I
harm,
understand
negative
that,
social
but it would just
consequences,
be,
and
but
equality.
it would just boil down to perspective at that point.
Yeah, it does. Because
So
what's
that
moral
means
and
there is no, that would make it, there is no objective morality then.
there isn't.
Yeah, but when people think like that, like, that's like the thought process behind the most horrible things that's ever happened in humanity.
No, not really. Not really, because the thing is,
So
even
it's like,
if
so like, if a pedophile, like, so is pedophilia wrong?
yeah, it is because it causes harm.
But how do you,
We can objectively show what harm is.
how?
What do you mean how? When an adult touches
That would
a
be
little
subjective.
when an adult
That
that's
would
not-
always be subjective.
Are you gonna let me finish? When an adult touches a little kid, we know what happens to that little kid. Psychiatrically, they're affected very, very badly.
What makes it bad?
The fact that it has a negative consequence.
What makes it negative?
Like I told you, what happens to that child?
What makes, but you see how you can't answer my, I was like a circular thing, because when there's no objective morality, everything becomes subjective.
I just told you what happens to a child is trauma, difficulty in adulthood, a whole bunch of negative consequences. Are you gonna tell me that those negative consequences are somehow not bad?
No, I'm telling you, you can't say they're bad. If
Yes, I can.
you agree that everything
Yes,
is subjective.
I can, because I just told you negative consequences.
Well, I guess you could say it is, but you would be contradicting yourself if everything is
No,
subjective.
I would not be. I can say what things are bad in my suggestive viewpoint. If you think an adult not being able to function in society is somehow not a bad thing, I don't know what to tell you. But to me, it is a bad thing.
Somebody could just say, I function better because they were molested. And then how would you disagree with their perspective if
I would
there's
disagree.
no objective morality?
I would disagree with their perspective by seeing how they function in society. And if they don't function well in society, I would tell them that, hey, this thing probably affected you. Name one person that said being touched by an adult when they were 5 years old helped them function in society. Oh yeah, don't be careful about your language, please.
Who, me?
Yeah. Say PDF file because TikTok friendly language.
Yeah, but if there's no objective morality, it would have to be subjective by definition.
Yes, everything is subjective. You can probably find someone who says that, yeah, me being, touched by an adult when I was 5 years old was all good and well. But then when we take a look at how they grew up and how they functioned and everything that was about them and all the trauma that they went through and everything like that, we can go ahead and make the judgment that
Right,
no,
and
that
I would
probably
agree
wasn't a
with you,
good
but
thing.
at the same time, you wouldn't be able to tell them they're wrong because you believe there's no objective morality.
No, I can tell them that they're wrong.
It would be subjective.
So?
Hey, can I enter this conversation as well?
Yeah, give me a second. I go 10-minute cheese person. Actually, give me 1 moment. Your name is GeoCity, correct?
Yeah, G.
G. Yeah, G. Do you disagree with what I have on board?
Yeah, I do disagree with what you have.
All right, give me a few minutes. Let me go ahead and finish up with Suffer, and I'm bring you. I'm gonna talk to you. Okay. All right.
Oh,
So when it comes to actually can tell them they were wrong. Now they can just say that, hey, that's your opinion, sure, but I can tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
can
you don't
say
need to you don't
you
need
can
to
you
you
can
don't
say
need
you're
to
atheist
you don't
all
need
too,
to
but
you don't need to
it
you don't
wouldn't
need
be
to
true.
you don't need to have an objective morality to say something that's morally right or wrong. Your own personal morals can tell you.
What?
Yes, your own personal morals can tell you.
Reality is objective. That's the only way we can say anything is right or wrong. If I say
Reality,
2 + 2 is 5, I'm wrong because there's an objective truth.
yes,
If
that's
everything is subjective, there is no
I didn't say
objective
that
truth.
everything is subjective. We're talking about morality.
If morality is subjective, that means there's no objective truth to it. Those two things can't exist at the same time. You see how you're like running in a circle,
There are things that are objectively true. That doesn't mean that morality is one of them.
bro. You're cooked right now. You know that,
No,
right?
no, no,
I'm cooking you on this one.
nope,
Yes, I am,
nope.
bro. Yes, I am.
You
Bro.
just you just try to use math to talk about
So was
morality,
Hitler
bro.
wrong? So was
Yes,
Hitler wrong?
yes,
How?
because he caused
Explain how he was
harm.
wrong.
He caused harm.
He thought he wasn't causing
Seven.
harm. So subjectively,
Are you gonna
he
let me
was
finish? You
right.
gonna let me finish? You gonna let me finish? Yeah, exactly. All right. So, G, how's it going?
yeah, I'm going good. How are you?
All right. So, you said that you disagree without having a board. What do you disagree with?
Yeah, well, I mean, just listening on the heels of that last conversation, I think in regards to this, I mean, I agree with this guy. Just in regards to there being a overall morality, and kind of the point that he's getting at is for us to be able to acknowledge that thing. If we're just clumps of cells, with no higher authority or a higher being that deems things as right or wrong, um, what would deem things as right or wrong? Everything would be subjective. It would be our own personal opinion. It would be basically what we're kind of trying to turn our society into nowadays is your truth versus my truth. And who are you if we're just clumps of cells, who are you to tell me what my truth is? And what you said something, everything is from our empathy standpoint. Who are you to tell me what my empathy is and how I want to conduct my empathy and do the things I want to do? But I do believe that there is a sovereign God that is above us, that writes their laws on our heart, that writes his laws on our heart, and it gives us a overall objective understanding of right and wrong. We all kind of have that understanding.
I, no, okay.
But
So, hold on. Here's the thing. That's a claim without evidence. How do we prove that to be true?
Which part of that?
When you said that there's an almighty creator that wrote a thing in our hearts, because how's that any different from empathy?
Yeah, well, first of all, I wanted to start the conversation with this because when I scrolled past this and saw there is no good evidence for a God, and before we even can have a conductive conversation, if that's the heart posture or the perspective that you are looking at this lens with, the Bible kind of confirms that you're not in any shape to at any point find that truth. It says in 2 Corinthians 4:4 that Satan, whom is God of
Can you
this
pause
world.
real quick? Can you pause
Yep,
real quick?
I can.
Why should I care what the Bible says?
You don't have to.
Okay, so that's not
all
right. So that's not a good point. I don't care what the Bible says. So what?
Well, that's fine. That's where I kind of get my source of information from that has been deemed as truth. And she says the Bible is not evidence. Okay, and that's fine.
It's
But
not.
I was prefacing this conversation with saying that that what the Bible does say is in 2 Corinthians 4:4 that Satan, who is God of this world, blinds the minds of those who don't believe. So if you have a non-belief or you don't have a desire to believe, there won't become a point where it's being revealed to you. That's kind of the heart posture that you have.
I grew up a Christian, bro.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the Bible saying something doesn't make it true.
Okay.
Because the Bible says that the earth was before the sun, and we know that's wrong. So the Bible saying something doesn't make it true.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to the conversation in regards to morality. Well, can we acknowledge that there's evil in this world?
Yeah, there are things where I would call evil.
Okay. So if there is a such thing as evil, how can evil exist if there's not a subjective, or sorry, an objective good that there is?
There's they're just what we evil are just labels. Evil are just labels of that what we put on something that's either extremely undesirable or extremely harmful. So we just call it evil. They're just labels. They're not a thing unto themselves.
Okay, so then what would deem something to who? So is what's evil or not evil, or good or not good? Is it all subjective to whoever you're talking to?
It actually can be, yeah, because according to the Triple K, hanging our ancestors was not evil, but it was evil to us because of how much harm that it caused. So evil is just basically evil is basically just a label of what we put on things. The reason why most of society agrees right now that what happened to our ancestors was wrong is because society shifted and we changed, and we understand that people of different skin color are human.
Hmm. But how are things? How are things? What I'm trying to get back to the point is kind of like what the gentleman in the last conversation was saying. How are things? How are things wrong if it's all subjective? Or sorry, it's all subjective. If it's all, to each is their own perspective on what is good or bad.
How are things wrong if things are subjective?
Yeah, I mean, if it's all to each is our own, it's our own empathy and it's our own perspective on things.
It's what we decide.
Then so it's what we decide. So if I were to, you know what I'm saying, if people in rural areas or outside of maybe, you know, governed areas, they can just act however they want to act, and they don't have any kind of understanding of what is right or wrong. They can just kind of operate in any kind of way, and there's no overall objective good or bad.
We're all gonna understand. Like, what I'm not even sure what you mean by that. Like, no one lives that way. What do we? I'm not
What
sure
do
what
you
you
mean?
mean. I'm not even sure what you mean because
What I'm
even
saying is we all have
the
we
thing
have
is,
an idea.
here's our thing.
Go ahead.
There's the thing I'll say. Like, humanity is a species of social interdependence. Like, we're all living in societies, from the tribes in the Amazon all the way to New York City. We all live in type of societies, and in those societies, we have to exist cohesively. If we're going to exist cohesively, no one's just going to go around purposely antagonizing their neighbors, because we're not going to be able to survive that way. So just by pure altruism, or even what some would even describe as selfishness, things like empathy and trying to have some sort of rule of law is going to happen because we all need to depend on one another. Like, these all have natural explanations. We don't need a God to write anything on our hearts. Every single species out there that depends on social interdependence have a degree of empathy. The most famous ones being dolphins and elephants. They've all shown degrees of empathy, even sharks, because they live in pods, they live in societies. Every single species that live in a society, they've shown empathy. Even mice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we don't need anything supernatural to explain any of this. Like, no one lives in the type of way that you're explaining, where they're all just going around antagonizing their neighbors. That doesn't work, because
But I'm
we're a
saying
social
there
species.
wouldn't. What I'm saying, my point by saying that is there wouldn't be anything wrong if they did. If there's no overall objective good or bad. If there's not a overall good or bad, it wouldn't matter if someone did or didn't. Regardless, I'm not saying that's the way that someone lives.
It would
But
still matter.
if they were to, it wouldn't really matter because we're just clumps of cells anyway.
It
If
would.
that,
It
according to your
would.
logic.
It would matter because harm is being caused.
But what? But who's to say that harm is necessarily bad?
The society that they live in. Are you saying that there is? Are you saying that there is absolutely no society out there that think that harm is something that they don't want to do? Like, no society has done that.
No, what I'm saying is that in each of our hearts, in every individual in their own hearts, they have this idea of an overall understanding of what is good and what is bad on our conscious.
Yeah, empathy. That's what that is.
Okay, okay. And so if we're all, and I'm getting kind of circling back to this point. If we're all, clumps of cells, or if we're all, essentially the kind of what you described us as earlier, where does that, in your opinion, begin? Where's the beginning of that? Because you know
Empathy.
that those aren't no, just our clumps of cells, just our beings in general. Where is the beginning? Are you a guy that believes in the Big Bang?
Like, our beings itself. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by our beings ourselves. You mean like consciousness?
Yeah, consciousness, or just us, like our genetic makeup. Where do we originate as? If we're just clumps of cells and we have no overall creator that is above us, where do we begin?
We evolved from prior animals.
Okay, and where do prior animals come from?
Prior animals.
Yeah, but there has to be a beginning. Where was
Yeah, the single cell organism, the first single
okay,
cell organism on this planet. That's where we all
okay,
came from.
okay, and so what created that? Because or is that are you is it your claim is that that is eternal?
It's not eternal. It came from somewhere. I don't know where it came from. You have to talk to like abiogenesis. You have to talk to someone who studies abiogenesis. I have no idea.
Okay, and that's just someone out there. You haven't, that's just someone. That's not any idea. You haven't thought to that degree of what might go into that.
Yeah, sure. I've thought to that degree. There are plenty of like there's like something called origin of life research. It's a whole field of studies of how like life came to be. What we're finding out is that it's likely an emergent property. The best explanation we have right now is abiogenesis.
Okay, can you explain that?
Abiogenesis is a process where inorganic matter forms into organic matter under the correct conditions, and we've seen experiments where that actually does happen.
Okay, well, just our basic laws of nature in this world. That initial cell that was at one point that you say that we all stem from, that needs something to create it, because nothingness itself won't create something. If there has to be something to a certain degree that's eternal to be able to create something, because nothingness isn't going to create something.
Well, nothingness is not a thing. There's no such thing as nothing. But when
Okay.
we're talking about something has to be eternal, nothing has to be eternal, because I don't know if you ever heard the Miller-Urey experiment, but the Miller-Urey experiment basically simulated how the conditions of the early the conditions of how Earth would be like in its earliest conditions basically, and they found that when they were able to do that experiment, they actually found that inorganic matter will coalesce into organic matter. So we know that this is a thing that could happen.
Yeah, I don't get what you're saying there. Explain it again.
Okay. In the Miller-Urey experiment, what they did was they simulated how Earth would be before like we all came here, right? But how early Earth would be, like 4 billion years ago. They simulated that in a lab experiment. And what they found, what they simulated in a lab experiment, basically they got water, heat, rocks, etc., lightning, charged lightning, and etc. Basically how Earth would be 4 billion years ago. When they simulated that in the lab, what they found was that when they looked in under the microscope, they found that inorganic matter, like the rocks and stuff like that, it actually the actual chemicals formed into organic matter. So we know that the early presence, like the early I keep wanting to say life, but basically how Earth was in its earlier times, we know that that inorganic matter can form into organic matter under the right conditions, essentially.
So you have essentially this faith in.
It's not faith. It was an experiment. It was an actual experiment, and you can
Well,
do
a
it.
it was
You
a
can
simulation.
do it at home right now. So it's not faith. You can directly
Well,
do it at home
you
right
said
now.
you said it was a simulation of what the Earth may have been before.
Yeah, exactly. Our best estimates of what Earth was like through, and we know that through geology, through chemistry. Like unless you're a geologist, unless you're gonna throw out all geology and chemistry, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, regardless, I'm not someone who goes back and forth and debates these things. And my thing was to have a conversation in good faith, and just kind of make it be known that if you kind of have this heart posture and you have a heart posture that I'm not interested in knowing that there's God. There is no evidence for God. I mean, I hope there's not an expectation for an everlasting God to kind of change your mind, because he's not gonna force this upon you. I mean, you have your own free will to kind of choose that.
I mean, the only thing that I said is that there is no good evidence for a God, and if we're just gonna say that, I doubt scientific experience. Oh, okay, he's gone. All right, appreciate you, Jonesy. W Jonesy in the chat. All right, I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and keep liking the live, keep sharing. We're almost at 10K likes. Shout out to everybody that is on my YouTube right now. Shout out to everybody on my YouTube right now. Decon Cam, I see you. I appreciate you. Black D Gaming. I said D Gaming. Pause. I can't say that word on TikTok. That's the only reason why. But Black Gaming, I appreciate you being here. Wild Willie, I appreciate you being here. X Panda, I appreciate you being here. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Everyone who's over on my Black Atheist YouTube, V, Child Free Sister, Stabled, I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the constructionist next, and then Evangeline, I'm gonna bring you up next, and Nisa. How's it going, Nisa? I appreciate you being here, Nisa. I haven't talked to you in a while. Shout out to Orlando. Nisa, I gotta take you to my baby shower. I'm bring you up in a second. All right, so the constructionist, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with what I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm 33, and yeah, I disagree.
All right, cool. I'll go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock. What do you disagree with and why? Well, I know what you disagree with, but like, why do you disagree?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that there is a God. I mean, just for example, the archaeological record proves the existence of a God. So,
like what?
That's within inside the archaeological record.
Which archaeological record proves there's a God?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Like for example, if we go to the New Testament, just for an example, talk about a census. The debate is that there was no census conducted within per se the passage within Luke. As a matter of fact, that's complete lie. In which we now have that census. It's called the divinity. It's called the Deeds of Divinity by Augustus. So he approximates that in between 4 to 5 million citizens were a part of that census. So the issue here is either history is either lying or mankind is lying. So we need to find out where are we lying. So if it says it in the Bible, now here I see the chat, the Bible is not the proof. The Bible is the proof because it has the evidence for this suggested. If we go for example, if a detective hears of something, they're going to go investigate it. So if the Bible records that something, it needs to be investigated. Now we have evidence to suggest that there's something more to it than just that.
Okay. What does this prove about God? That didn't prove God to me at all. Like the Romans made censuses all the time. So what?
Well, no. See, that's just it. No, they didn't make a census all the time. There's only one recorded census inside the entire Roman population that's taken place, and it's recorded. Just so happens to be recorded inside the book of Matthew as well as within the book of Luke. So therefore, I just told you what it was. It was the deeds of divinity by a divine, the deeds of the divine by Augustus. So the problem there is that right there signifies that the Luke passage.
Okay, the Roman census was a periodic registration of the empire's population, primarily used for taxation. You just said that they only took one. The Romans took them all the time.
No. There's two different things going on there. There's a census and there's a taxation. I'm not talking about the taxation. I'm talking about the census.
Yeah, they did that all the time.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. I just showed you.
No, you didn't show me anything. I'm telling you, there's two different things going on. There's a taxation, which is one.
I'm not talking about taxation. I'm talking about the census was a periodic registration of the empire's population, right? They always took a census. The Romans were the ones who started the census. Like, they always took a census of their population. They always did that.
Well, if that's the claim, then you're going to have to validate the Greek the Greek census.
Actually, you're correct. Yeah, the Greeks are the ones who came up with the census. Actually, no, they're not. Hold on. Every single large empire had a census. Even the Chinese had censuses.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is this. You said that the Augustus census is proof of God, but it's not. The Roman census is all the time.
No. Hold on. No, I didn't say it was a proof of God. I'm saying it validates the atheistic claim that there was no census taking place within the book of Luke. In fact, that is completely inaccurate because it goes to the deeds of the divinity within Augustus. That's what's taking place. That is the census that's recorded in the book of Luke, right? So that's my point. I didn't say it proves the existence of God. It just proves the validity of the claim that is taking place in Luke.
Yeah, okay. So Luke said that there was a census going on, right? I can accept that because that's not what's important to me, honestly. Because if Luke is claiming there's a census going on, sure that there's probably was a census going on because like these are like things that are happening in history. Like the way I view the Bible, I don't view it as it's all completely false. There are things in there that did historically happen. Like King David was a real person. Do I believe that like even Jesus could have been a real person? The contentious the argument is over whether these people had miracles and walked on water. There's no proof of those things.
Well, look at. If you're going to look at the metaphysical, which I steer clear from, because the metaphysical cannot be validated. There's just, unless if somebody actually does it. Now, there's claims being made. Do I, I don't. It's just like, for example, NDEs. Okay, for example, NDEs. There's plenty of recorded evidence in regards to to actually look into the evidence that NDEs actually take place. Just like, for example, in Dr. Craig Keener's work, he records thousands of evidences of NDEs, people actually seeing something past the afterlife. So, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater without investigating these claims, which, again, Dr. Craig Keener did that in his work, Miracles of Today. So that's my point. So if we're going to look into the metaphysical things,
the thing is, when it comes to NDEs, what we find out is that they're highly cultural. Like Hindus who have NDEs say they see their spiritual gods. Same thing with Muslims. I don't think they see Muhammad, but they see like symbols and stuff like that. And when Catholics have an NDE, they see the Virgin Mary. So it's highly contextual on your culture, isn't it?
I disagree, and the reason why I say that is because you're going to have to go back to, for the Islamic, the Islamic, I guess, the Muslim Brotherhood, I guess, whatever you want to call it. They're having visions and dreams, et cetera, of a guy in white with holes in his hands and holes in his feet. So again, if you're going to count their claim as complete false, then we're going to have to come up with a better reasoning in explaining that. And of course, you can look that up. And,
I'm not saying that their experience is false. I'm saying that NDEs are highly culturally contextual. I don't doubt that there are Muslims that had NDEs and they saw Jesus, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are Muslims who had NDEs that didn't see Jesus, and there are Hindus who had NDEs that see their gods. There are people who are Christian that convert to Muslim all the time. Like, these things always happen.
I'm not doubting that one bit. However, but what I'm looking at is I'm not looking at it, in his Hindu, because the conversation is not about Hinduism. It's about Christianity and the proof of the ability of God. Because
Right.
if we, God is a descriptor. Well, God is a descriptor. So if we're going to talk about God, we need to narrow it down to which God we're referring to.
What I'm bringing up is the fact that NDEs, for people who have NDEs and they see Christ, that's all good and well, but that doesn't prove the fact that God actually exists, because again, Hindus have NDEs and they see their gods. Wouldn't that mean that those exist?
Well, I don't know if any Hindu has actually had an experience at NDE, so I've never really read anywhere in any of their works suggesting that NDEs had taken place within that, and to give their quote unquote testimony. So I've never really looked into that. So that's something that I will look up. I don't think I'll find any, but I'll be more than happy to, unless if you can say otherwise, because I don't know of any. Do you know of any?
Like, have I met them? No, I just
No. I'm talking about, have you? I'm talking about not necessarily met them personally. No, I'm talking about giving the evidence of what they're saying, a link, a study, etc.
Yeah, that happens all the time. You want me to look for it and bring it up?
Well, no, you can just, tell me what it is and I'll go looking for it myself. Because again, just like, for example, a neuroscientist, and I'll give you his name and you can look up his book and you can look it up for yourself. The book is called Proof of Heaven, and he's a neuroscientist by the name of Eben Alexander, and he is like I said, he's a neuroscientist. He had I think it was a brain hemorrhage or a brain aneurysm. I don't know which one it was. And he unalived.
Mm-hmm.
And he completely flatlined, completely no brain function at all, and he tells his whole little ordeal about what took place in his book. Again, it's the name of the book is Proof of Heaven. So the issue here is, if a neuroscientist who was an atheist unalived and he's coming back and seeing everything he saw, we're going to have to explain what this man is saying, because again, before this happened, he was a devout atheist. He didn't believe in God. He didn't want anything to do with God. Then all of a sudden something happens to him, and then he comes back a changed man and was like, I'm just going to tell you this is what happened. So again, I don't know of any Hinduism, any books in regards to any studies of any Hindu doing the exact same thing.
All right.
That's the issue.
Well, okay, just because you don't know about it doesn't mean that is not the case. You could just look this up, like literally use the Google. There are plenty of Hindus who have had NDEs, and when they report it, they see their gods. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to Ibn Alexander, yeah, sure, I understand that he had a near an NDE, and he felt he saw heaven. That's all good and well, and then he converted to Christianity. That's all good and well. Doesn't prove anything, bro.
Well, again, it proves that something had taken place.
All it proves that he had an experience, but it does not prove that heaven is real.
Well, I mean, how do you prove that's metaphysical? How do you prove the metaphysics inside the physical world?
Exactly. So why would we believe it?
Well, then, if that's the case, then we might as well look on what we have in the archaeological record, going back to the archaeological record. For example, inside of the, just like, for example, the Book of Exodus, okay, or we have the Book of Papyrus, for example. That details Exodus 1 regards the midwives that was taking place inside of Exodus 1 alone, and it describes who the midwives were. It tells that there was a decree or a whatever was going on, not necessarily a census, but a tablet going on by the Pharaoh that says, hey, do this to such and such, and you have to obey it. Well, that we have that archaeological record. So that right there coincides with the claim of the Bible.
Hold on. Like I said, I understand that the Bible has historical things in there that happened. Like I said, King David was probably a real person. Absalom was probably a real person. Even Elijah was probably a real person. The question is over the claims of the miracles and those things that happen in the Bible, especially when it comes to the Exodus. Apparently, the entire story of the Exodus is not true because we have zero records of Israelites leaving there in mass. Or even being there. Okay, what archaeological evidence do we have? Because Egyptologists and even Jewish scholars have said there's no evidence of this thing happening.
Sure.
Or even Moses being a real person.
Sure. Yeah, I would point you to Dr. David Roll in his book Exodus. He's an agnostic. He's an agnostic Egyptologist. His name is Dr. David Roll. His book is Exodus myth or history. He actually tells you who Moses is. He actually finds not only Moses, but he also actually finds Joseph in Egypt. So the issue here is, if we're going to look at the archaeological record and take it with validity, we need to do that with validity. So if these people,
real quick, can I make a point real quick? You're talking about archaeological evidence, and one single scholar that you brought up, who happened to write a book based on a theory that he has he been able to repeat? Has anybody else been able to repeat the results of what he found in this so-called archaeological evidence, or is he just a single voice out there going against the consensus of all historians, archaeologists, sociologists, anthropologists, and scientists who have also studied the Middle Eastern region and whether or not the God of the Bible is real?
To answer your question, Dr. Manfred Vitek, as well as Dr. Titus Kennedy. I mean, the list can continue. I mean, Dr. Alexander, what's his? I can't remember. Alexander Kent. So the problem is these men have went into this area and they were scholarly. You could go look up their books, you could go look up their work and everything else. And again, so the problem here is
but hang on a second. The consensus is one thing. What I'm asking you is, have these guys been able to prove to the top scientists in this region and the top anthropologists in this region?
Why would scientists have anything to do with this?
Because that's how science works.
No, that's not how science works.
Okay. Can I please complete a thought before you jump in? Thank you. So science is merely following data to a conclusion. It does not start with a conclusion, which is the Bible is presupposed as being real, and then looks for things to back that up. Science follows the data, and whatever the answer is at the end, that's what the answer is. When you're starting from a presupposition that everything in the Bible, which is a claim, not a proof, is real, then you are starting backwards.
Well, not exactly. Okay, you know how?
No, that's exactly the way that a scientific method works.
You're interrupting. Okay, so here's the thing. You do know how archaeologists work. They base it off of one date, right? You're aware of this, correct?
So it depends on
answer
what
the
you're
question.
talking
I asked
about.
the question. That wasn't a statement. I asked the question. I would like for you to answer that question.
It depends on the data you're looking for.
No, ma'am. It's based off of one incident that take place inside the biblical record. Okay,
it is working off of a claim.
That's not how archaeology works.
Yeah, that's not.
No. They base.
Hold on. Wait. Pause. No. Everybody pause. That's not how archaeology works. Archaeology doesn't look at the
I didn't
Bible
say
and
that's
say,
how it works.
all right, so what are you
You
talking
literally
about?
just did.
No. What I was trying to say was how they base it off of the time of the destruction of Jericho. Then they work backwards. If they can base it, because that's exactly what's taking
That's
place.
starting with a presupposition that the destruction of Jericho, as
That's
As the
what they
Bible
detailed in
base
the
it off the
Bible,
time.
is real. That
That's
is a
how they're
claim.
proving. No, that is not a claim because obviously you don't know anything about archaeology and
You
how
don't
it
know the
works.
difference between a claim and an
Yes, I
actual
do. A
fact.
claim is something that is being said without it being validated. That's a claim. Clearly, I do know what a claim is.
Right.
What
So
I'm
the
telling
Bible.
you is
is
how
a
archaeology.
claim.
All right,
Now,
pause.
listen,
Everybody pause.
hey,
Everybody pause. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. All right, we're gonna go one at a time. With because
Okay.
you keep saying, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, so you keep saying that the Bible is proven through some archaeological claim. The first thing that we need to go through is the claim that the Exodus happened, because according to archaeological and scientific consensus, the Exodus is not a real thing. That's just a foundation myth. What
Well,
evidence is there?
apocalypse.
What evidence is there that the Exodus did happen? Because the Egyptians have zero records of that happening.
That's not true. On sub key. Okay, again, before we even talk about the Exodus, we have to
No.
validate.
Let's talk about the
that-
Exodus
hold on,
first.
Hold on.
Ain't no hold on.
Hold
So let's talk about the
hold on
Exodus
just a
first. What evidence that
We have to understand that there is a if there's a migra-
what evidence is there that the
I'm
Exodus
literally
happened?
answering your question. I'm
Go
literally
ahead.
answering your question.
Go ahead.
Okay, to prove that there is an Exodus, we have to understand that there was a migration. Okay, that is on Chemotep II's tomb of an Asiatic people coming into Egypt. Right, so we have them in Egypt. Right, so that being taken place, then we have to establish that they were in Egypt at that point before the Exodus even takes place. So it's what we're doing. So the missus, that's exactly what she was talking about. So we have them. We actually have their. Through archaeology, we actually have the grave sites of what was taking place with the midwives, because there's a ratio between the grave sites. I think that's TikTok appropriate. We actually have the grave sites. It's called the Varus, right? That's where the modern day quote unquote biblical Goshen was. There's grave sites within taking place of that. Okay, the grave sites are 3-to-2 ratio, more girls than there are boys in the graves, because that right there validates the historical claim regarding Exodus 1. Hence the expression the Brooklyn Papyrus. Fast forwarded now through that.
Okay, you're going a mile a minute. Hold on. No, I'm
Now,
not.
here's-
Wait. Stop. You're going a
hang on,
mile a minute. You're going a mile a minute, bro. We have to get in here at some point. Go ahead, Cricket.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're talking about there being all this evidence that there was an Exodus, that there were Hebrews in Egypt, and we have to take this one thing and this one thing and this one thing. Okay, and then you mentioned the Babylonian exile.
I never said anything about the exile of Babylon.
Okay, you mentioned Babylon, however.
No, I didn't. I said the
But-
Brooklyn
and-
Papyrus.
okay, all right, fine.
Brooklyn Papyrus.
You know what? Fine.
All right.
I mentioned Babylon. Okay, we have so much archaeological evidence relating to the Babylonian exile.
We're not talking
is
about the
not
Babylonian
repeat-
exile.
Hold on. Hey, I let you talk, constructionist. Let her go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying we have all of this evidence of the Exodus and the people, the Hebrew people being in Egypt as slaves, right? So you've made that claim. However, you're pointing to this one person here, this one person here, this one person here. Okay, great. You've got those people you can look at as your proof of this. However, if you look at the historical documentation of the peoples of Israel and the migrations that they took, we have so much evidence of the Babylonian exile. We have so much evidence of the Hebrew migration throughout the Middle Eastern lands. And yet we don't have anything other than these 1 or 2 or 3 people that you've mentioned saying anything about the Exodus. And the problem is, if you had 1 million people, which is what would be the population of Hebrew slaves that left Egypt, you have 1 million people going to the desert. You're going to have evidence of that, and we just simply don't.
We do.
All right. So
Again,
I wanted to.
I haven't even touched. I haven't even touched on the Exodus.
Hold on. Wait.
part of it
Hold on, constructionist. I want to touch on this. Yeah. We said before, we know that the Bible has mentioned historical things. What we're talking about is the extraordinary and miraculous things that it claims. For example, you said that the Egyptians have records of an Asiatic people coming into Egypt. Of course, they have records of that because like Egypt is right next to Western Asia. So yeah, there were Asiatic people that came into Egypt, and there were
No, that's
Asiatic
not
people
what
who
that
hold on.
means. That's not what that
Yes,
means.
yes, it does. Yes, it
No,
does.
it's not. No, it's
Yes, it
not.
does.
No,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
No, they were
Egypt
from
is
Syria.
right. Egypt was a huge empire during that time. Of course, they had Asiatic people coming into
No,
Egypt.
that's not what
They
that
used
means,
to
though.
run the Levant, dude. So of course they had Asiatic
Bro,
people
that's not
coming
what
in.
that means,
Yes,
though.
it does. Yes, it does. If you interrupt me again, I'm gonna drop you. Of course, they had Asiatic people coming into Egypt because Egypt was a huge empire at that time. People used to migrate all the time. That does not imply that the Israelites who are in the Bible were in there. We could even say that the Israelites who we know from the Bible there were probably some of them in Egypt and there were some of them who left. What we're actually talking about though is a story in the Bible where a figure named Moses did a whole bunch of miracles to move millions and millions of people out of Egypt all at one time. There's no evidence of that. There's evidence of migration, of people coming in, of people leaving, et cetera, et cetera. There's no evidence that they weren't they were the slaves who built the pyramids. There's no evidence that the pyramids were even built by slaves. There's no evidence that it was all at one time where millions of people moved out. There was no evidence that there was this one figure who did all these miracles and then moved all people out at one time. None of that is an evidence. It's all a foundation myth.
Okay, so yeah, what Asiatics? That's Assyrians. That's basically with the same area. That's what that means. So in regards to that being said, we do have we have an Egyptian scribe by the name of Imwar that details the actual plagues that were taking place. So before we can ever even touch and get into the other extra stuff, we actually have a person to describe that what is taking place. That's called the Imwar papyrus. That's what's taking place. That details the entire ordeal, including the unaliving within inside of the 10th commandment. I'm sorry, not the 10th commandment, but the 10th plague, which is the unaliving of the firstborn of the Egyptians. So that being said, so they have proof that something takes place within inside of that. On top of that, there's a mountain range within inside of the Saudi Arabia. It's called Jumbo Laws. Okay. There's an actual, it looks like a movie prop. Of course, it's not a movie prop, though. There's actual troughs that has taken place on top of a mountain range, by the way, of the Jumbo Laws mountain range. It's burnt to a crisp into an ember. It's all, it's black rock. How the sun is not that hot. The desert is not that hot to be able to do that. On top of that, there is hieroglyphs written on a huge stone. Right? Okay, that's where it is interpreted that Moses got the 10 Commandments and he's coming down, blah, blah, blah. So to say that there's no evidence to suggest that there's, well, you would have for example.
Can I ask?
Oh, no,
can
you're
I ask you
interrupting.
something real quick? Hey, Count.
You're
yeah, I did.
interrupting.
I want to ask you a question. I do. I am interrupting you because I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that there are wagon wheels in the Red Sea?
No, I don't. Because there's script.
Okay, good.
Okay. The scriptures. Okay, scripture clearly says that it's the Sea of Reeds. Okay, that has nothing to do with the Red Sea. Okay, so what's taking place is we actually have inside of Dr. David. Hold on. Dr. David Roll's book, Exodus, Myth, or History. He takes you into that area where they could have, quote unquote, crossed. Because again, the scripture says that there is a marker. We still have that marker today. However, because it's in that 1040 window, you're familiar with the 1040 window is, right?
Yeah, sure. All right. So
Okay.
hold on.
Yeah, so
We're going on.
One last word. You can have it. We have those markers still today when they crossed. Those markers are in that spot again.
No, they aren't.
Yes,
that
they
is
literally
a flat
are.
out
Dr. David Roll's
fabrication.
again. Dr. David Roll's book, Exodus, Myth, or History. He shows it to you in picture form.
All right,
None of that is even remotely supported by the consensus of people who study archaeology in that area. He is a lone person making a claim that he cannot back up.
All right, and I wanted to add something else. The papyrus that you mentioned, it does offer some parallels. But like there's no like direct archaeological proof that was happening, because all these things that they were talking about can be explained naturally, and there's no evidence of the 10th plague either, of all the children unaliving at the same time. Is
Okay,
it muted?
I didn't know I was muted. So yeah, which papyrus are you talking about?
You're talking about the Ipswich papyrus, right?
The what?
The I'm not sure how to spell it. Oh, there it is.
Are you talking about the Memoir?
IPUWE. Yeah. You talking about
The
that
Memoir?
papyrus?
Yeah. No, I mean no. If you read all of it,
Mhm.
it tells you that the unaliving of the 10th plague, it's still in there. It talks about the unaliving of the firstborn of Egypt. It clearly says it. Now, of course, you can look.
No,
that up.
it just talks about blood, famine, and like social upheaval. But that could just be
That's
a time.
clearly what that is. That's clearly
right,
what's going on.
But
That's
yeah,
clearly what
right.
the plagues are.
But what I'm saying is that all
You
that
are
is
extrapolating what you think happened in that thing. That's not what it says.
No, you're
Right.
coping with this.
What I'm saying. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Stop. Listen. What I'm saying is that this papyrus does mention a real event, but the Bible kind of legendary like magics it up. You know what I'm saying? Like let me give you an example. We know that the Battle of Troy happened, right? Greece and Troy went to war. We know that happened. But Homer in the Iliad put that Zeus and Hera were involved in the entire thing. We know Zeus and Hera doesn't exist. Don't you think that the same thing could be happening in the Bible when it comes to these plagues? These are things that could have happened in Egypt for real, but we know that there are natural explanations for all these things.
Okay, so then what is the natural explanation?
The like the whole sea of blood thing, that happens in the Nile all the time. Like the Nile turns red.
Then if it happens all the time, then how come it's not a reoccurring event? How come it's
It
not
is a
relevant?
reoccurring event. The Nile turns red all the time.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, see, that's just it. Okay, for example, they say you've ever heard of a quote unquote blood moon?
Hey, just real quick.
Okay,
as
I don't
far
know what
as
that
the plague
was.
being
Hold
a
on,
natural,
give me a second.
as far as the plague being a natural phenomenon, if you follow the course of events and you follow them in order, and if you can assume that they didn't happen in a 10-day period, they are a natural progression.
Who says that
of
they were 10
natural?
days? Nobody says it was 10 days. The Bible doesn't even
I
say it was
didn't.
10 days.
I am fully aware of that. I'm saying as long as you assume that it's not 10 days.
Nobody said it's
Like
10
the
days.
people.
The Bible doesn't even say it's 10 days.
What is
I'm
the-
not saying it's 10 days
Okay,
either.
like, are you having trouble listening when I speak? I'm trying to frame an argument here, and you're quibbling about a detail you don't understand. So just let me finish, please.
Oh, yeah, talk about not
If you
understanding
watch,
it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Volsey, I'm gonna be
Hey,
super
yeah,
super nice.
no, I
Okay?
know,
But here's the
I
deal:
know.
if you,
Here's the thing.
if you look at the progression of the plagues, and you assume that that they're natural events that are following one right after the other, they perfectly tie in to each other. Okay, you have the river of blood, which is an algae bloom that happens frequently. It's even called the river of blood when it happens. It happens all the freaking time. You've got the frogs that were driven out of the river by the algae bloom because it's toxic to them. You've got the boils that happen on the people and the animals, which could have been related to the toxic algae bloom. It may not have been related. It may not have been related at all. However, that's what caused the flies, the locusts, all this other stuff to come in. These are all easily and naturally explained. They don't have to have a supernatural element for all of these things to have happened. In fact, there is some speculation, although it has not been proven because we have no evidence of it, that if the firstborn of Egypt were absolutely wiped out, it was very likely an ergot poisoning, because when they were rationing grain because they had run out, the firstborn sons always get a meal that the other family members do not get. And if the grain that they were being fed was infected with ergot, of course it would kill the firstborn because those were the only ones that were eating it. These all have very natural and easy explanations. God doesn't have to be involved in any of it.
Okay, so
what you
so
would
the
have
issue
to show,
so the issue is there.
what
No,
you have
no
to show
one
construction
said.
is, what you have to show construction is that these are like what she said, supernatural explanations when we have natural explanations for it.
Sure. Again, I'm not making the claim that they were not supernatural. I'm not making that claim. I mean, they very well could have been natural. Obviously, there are elements that's being taken place that is attributed to the deity Yahweh. So here's the issue. Again, no one is saying that it's supernatural. I'm not saying that. I'm not making that position. My position is to defend the Bible. That's what's taking place. So you agree that X, Y, and Z are taking place. So what's the argument? You've
But
already conceded.
I
already succeeded.
am agree. I have not conceded anything in the Bible
literally
being true.
have.
What I have okay, again, please let me finish.
Yeah.
Jesus
You have not
Christ.
Hey,
gave
hey,
me a
everybody,
chance
everybody,
to
everybody,
finish
pause,
either.
everybody, pause,
So
everybody, pause. Constructionist, I'm gonna need you to let people finish, bro. Like for real, this is getting extremely annoying. Don't interrupt again.
Okay. I have not made an argument for or against any claim that has been made in the Bible. What I have said is these things that are in the Bible are unlikely to be supernatural in nature because it is impossible to prove the supernatural. So we have to go with what we know for sure. We don't know everything about what happened in the Bible. We don't know how some of this stuff happened. It doesn't freaking matter because maybe one day we'll know, maybe one day we won't. But the fact is, the Bible itself is a storybook that has real events in it, along with supernatural explanations for those events. So if you're defending the Bible as a book or as a proven claim, then you are absolutely defending the supernatural aspects of it. And you cannot get away from that. Because if you're defending the Bible as a book, as a whole thing, and saying that these things are true, therefore this other thing is true, then you have to defend the supernatural aspects of it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You
that's
said
what we're.
that's all I was gonna hold on. That's all I was gonna say. You said that you're not saying that these things are supernatural, but then I clearly said from the beginning. Matter of fact, this is the third time I'm saying it. Yes, the Bible mentions things that did actually happen, that were historical. It's the supernatural things that are in contention and that we don't believe in. And you came up here saying, I'm saying that yes, there is evidence for a God because of things that you see in the Bible. And I'm again saying that yeah, the Bible does mention things that historically happened. That does not mean that they were supernatural. There could be natural explanations for it. Now you're saying that they don't have to be supernatural. They could be natural. As a matter of fact, they probably were natural. If that's the case, then what were we up here talking about for the past 30 minutes?
Okay, so yeah, I never made the claim that anything in regards to supernatural. The only thing that I said anything about anything in regards to supernaturalism or metaphysics is NDEs. That's the only thing that I contributed to anything in regards to metaphysics. However, what I said, and I said this clearly, do not throw the baby out the bathwater due to the archaeological record.
The
Okay,
archaeological
so
record only shows that the Bible mentions historical things. We know that already.
okay, so
It's the
the Bible is more
supernatural
than
things. It's the supernatural things that are in contention. There's no evidence of those things.
but we are wait we've already went over the things that were just taking place. And
Right.
again,
Yeah,
if
we know that
you're
these things take
pivoting,
place, but like
if
you
you're
said,
taking
the
it, if you're
plagues of
pivoting to the supernatural, that's fine. So if we're going to
I'm not
tackle the
pivoting. I said
supernatural,
this from the hold on. I'm not pivoting. I said this from the beginning. This is gonna be the fifth time I'm saying it. Yeah, the Bible does mention things that were historical. We do know that the kingdom of Judah exists. We do know that there were probably Hebrews in Israel. We know all that, right? That doesn't mean that the supernatural claims it makes are actually real.
again, that's a
I
pivot to
can
the
say
supernatural.
that's not a pivot. I can completely admit right now that Jesus was probably a real person. That doesn't mean he walked on water. I said that 20 minutes ago.
Bro, if you're subscribing that Jesus was a real character and a real person, and if you think him walking on water is a problem, I guess you forget his whole birth narrative then, because that by
What?
definition is a miracle within itself.
What's a
Yeah, a
miracle?
woman, his birth.
Yeah. His no. Like Mary lied, bro. She
Oh,
Okay,
Mary
yes,
lied,
I
bro.
mean,
She
where
got
is
smashed out
okay,
by
you wanna
somebody, and Joseph was the baby daddy.
You're making a claim. You're making
Huh?
a claim. Where is the evidence to suggest that Mary lied?
That there's no such
the
thing as a
fact that
virgin
she's
birth.
No,
claiming
no,
a
no, 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 no,
deity
no, no.
knocked her up.
That's not evidence. That's still a claim. Where is
Okay,
your
so
evidence that
well,
she lied?
That
the
there's
fact
no such
that
thing
No,
as
no,
a
she
that's
virgin
not
brought
birth.
the
hang
answer.
Yes,
on,
yes,
hang on,
yes.
hang on,
I'm going to
because
mute you.
there.
I'm going. I'm sorry, Cricket. I'm sorry, Cricket. Give me a second.
No, you're fine.
Yes, the fact I know that Mary lied because virgins don't give birth. You have to have sex. You have to do the hanky panky. She got to do
Really?
it doggy style.
Sure.
She gotta
Okay.
have her legs up in the air, bro. She gotta get banged out. We all know what this is. We're all adults. So she
I agree.
lied.
I'm agreeing with
Cricket,
you.
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you would like to talk about your fringe archaeologists who have opinions about things that go against the consensus. There are some fringe biblical scholars who believe that Mary may have been sexually assaulted by a Roman soldier. And the reason that they came up with the story about Jesus's birth was to save her from being fucking killed. because Joseph, the creepy old man that he was, didn't necessarily want to see his child bride go down. So her sexual assault was turned into a different story.
Wait,
Be careful of TikTok language. Just say essay and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah. So Joseph was a creepy old man. Okay, again, those are claims without validated evidence. As a matter of fact, the general consensus was Mary was right around 16, 17 years old.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
bullshit.
Joseph was
She
creepy.
about 13.
No, she was. Oh, where's your evidence to suggest that she was 13?
I don't, and you don't have any evidence
Exactly,
to
that's your
suggest that she was
claim.
16.
That
The
is-
consent,
No, hold on,
knowing that the marriage,
actually do.
would
Actually
you
do.
let
Hold
me?
on, everybody pause. Everybody pause.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're gonna let Cricket finish real quick. All right. Yeah, sorry about this, Cricket. Yeah, I know.
All right.
I'm giving them way more leniency than I usually give. All right. So
So here's the deal about Mary being betrothed to Joseph. The typical now again, as far as like individual people, I don't know for a fact she was 12. You don't know for a fact that she was 16. Either of those is still disgusting because Joseph was a grown ass man. But the typical betrothal for a girl child in that time period, in that era,
13,
and
14.
in that location is what, when they hit puberty, which is mean that when they start having menstruation, that's when they got married. That happened about 12 or 13, 14 at the outside. Okay. And so it is extremely likely, and a general consensus among biblical scholars, that Mary was no more than 14 when she was betrothed to Joseph. Joseph, again, based on how marriages happened in that time period, in that region, and within that religion, is that Joseph was more than likely above the age of 30. Do I have proof of this? Absolutely not. But I'm going off of societal norms at the time. There was very likely a massive age gap in these two people
And
because of the way that children were married off to their husbands.
right.
Okay,
And
so yeah,
let's go with
and
let's go with your claim that Mary was around 16. If Joseph wasn't also 16, that man was creepy, bro.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, according to the Babylonian Talmud, there's a general average age of married couples in the Hellenistic and Roman periods that have late teens being married. All right. So, and again, this is all the Babylonian
And that is
Talmud.
not, that's Babylonians. That's not
No,
Hebrews.
no.
What about the
Babylonian
Hebrews?
Talmud. That is Hebrew.
Oh, the Babylonian Talmud. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the Talmud.
All right.
Okay, so the Babylonian Talmud.
Okay,
They
so
suggest,
let's
hold on,
assume
hold
that
on. Was it
she's
done? Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on,
let him go. He could go. Let him go.
I
Okay,
apologize.
so
Go ahead.
the common age was anywhere from 16, and that's where I'm getting the age from. The Babylonian Talmud suggests anywhere from 16 to 17, possibly even 18 years old. And Joseph was right around 22, 23, 24 years of old. So that's not big of an age gap. It's only 6, maybe 7 years.
Where is your proof that Joseph was only 22?
I clearly just told you. The
That's not
Babylonian
proof.
Talmud.
All right, I got you.
So it says that
hold on,
Joseph,
hold on.
Here's the
Joseph
thing.
himself.
Hold on.
I got you. I got you. Hold on. I got you. No, wait. I got you, constructionist. I got you. Listen, even remember what I just said before. Even if Mary was around 16, and I'll give that to you, if Joseph wasn't around that age, he's still creepy. Because a 22-year-old man with a 16-year-old girl, bro, like nowadays you'll probably get arrested for that. Like that's still creepy.
That's
as hell.
today's norms. I would agree with that. Yes, that's today's norms. However, we're talking about 2,000 years ago, and the reason
No,
why
I
that
feel
is-
you. I got you.
Hold on. Let me finish. Again, according to Tobit 7:11 through 14. Okay, that suggests the reason why they did it that way is to conserve the bloodline, right? That's not me saying this. That's what the Babylonian Talmud is saying. Is to conserve the bloodline because of the young age. For example, our great ancestors were younger ages. Like for example, I could go back almost 150 years. They started at 15 all the way up through my great-great-grandmother's side, all the way back at 15
I'm sorry. Can we
years of
pause real
age.
quick? Can we pause real quick? Let me just do one thing. Y'all guys gotta do a quick commercial break. We're at 10K likes. 46 people in here. I appreciate you all. Go ahead and keep liking that live. I know that this turned into a more of a panel thing than a one-on-one discussion. I do still all appreciate you being here. If anyone wants to come up, go ahead and click that guest button. We'll come up. I'm going to put my guest link in the YouTube chats. So if anyone disagrees with me, you can come into the YouTube chats and we can come up and have a more of a discussion. Again, this is my friend Cricket. You guys follow her. Go ahead and gift her up. Very smart woman. She taught me a lot. I appreciate Construction as being up here as well. And I appreciate everyone and W Live. Let's go ahead and hit that gift goal. And I also have a subscription goal, y'all. It costs less than a McChicken. If you would like to subscribe to me, let's hope that YouTube doesn't die this week, and I mean not YouTube, TikTok doesn't die this week, and then we can continue doing these and continue having these discussions. I appreciate you all. All right, so I want to get back actually to because we went down a rabbit hole. The first thing that you said was that if I'm conceding that Jesus was actually a real person, I have to concede the claim around his birth. No, I do not. Because the claim around his birth is impossible, and there is no evidence that is true. So why would I accept it?
I mean, you don't have to accept it, but I mean, in regards to, you said abiogenesis, which is very good. I mean, it's a very, very broad, very complex topic. If we're going to look at, and I don't know how to say this because of TikTok, how TikTok's going to accept this, but asexual. I guess that's a proper terminology. I don't know any other word. They actually have both organs. They can actually become pregnant. So the suggestion there is Mary could have had that deformity within inside of her genetic code, where she could have somehow or another created a physical being. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how the miraculous conception works. I'm just trusting that it took place because that's where my faith lies. But the issue is how do you argue against it, right? Because we have 2,000 years of, according to you, according to the atheistic side, of claims being made for 2,000 years that people are, either falling in line with or obviously falling out of line with. So the issue is how it works. I have no idea. The only thing that I can do is try to put pieces into the missing branches of where they are. That's all I can do.
Can I,
All right,
can I make a comment off of what you just said? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Volsey. I don't mean to keep jumping in.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you just said that you have no way of proving it, but you're going to believe it anyway because that's where your faith goes. And I understand why you're saying that, because I was a very devout Christian for about 35 years, and I said the exact same thing. The problem is you are, again, going at this backwards because you are presupposing a position, which is Jesus is divine. And then you are trying to fit evidence into that presupposition so that you can prove it. Now, if you want to sit there and say, okay, I can't prove that Jesus was divine because there's nothing other than just my beliefs backing that up, great, do that. That's awesome. But don't sit there and say that just because there's been a claim for 2,000 years that must make it true.
No, I didn't say
because
that.
there's been you were implying that.
No, that was
because
not
you were
implying that.
You were saying that if
We
there's
have
been
to
claims
account
for
for these
2,000 years,
2,000 years.
that
Yeah.
people have been falling into.
No,
and
that's
so
not
it's
what I
still
said.
go-
That's not what I
Okay.
said.
Hold on, because this is getting annoying. Okay, because this is what that's what we heard you say. So now you're
Well,
gonna have to
what I
clarify.
was-
So
yeah, what I was
one-
clarifying. Let me clarify. What I'm saying is, if I was agreeing with y'all's position, that's what I was doing. I said, if by chance there are 2,000 years worth of claims, then I would agree with your position in regards to doubting the claims of the validity of the miraculous conception. That's what I'm referring to. Okay,
All right, but-
so that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Gotcha.
It
But
has
the thing
nothing
is,
to
that's
do with supernatural.
But the thing is, that's exactly what happened. All we have is 2,000 years of claims.
But again, we have okay. For example, that's what I was talking about the census earlier. Okay, if by chance, and that's just one little bleep on the New Testament, if this actually took place, if there was actual a census, because that's the common debate, because there was no census, that proves just a little bleep on the New Testament and the validity of that. That's my point.
All it proves is that it recorded a historical thing. It doesn't mean that the supernatural claims are real, like we said 6 times now.
But again, I don't subscribe to the metaphysics. I've already said that. I don't know how to. I don't know how to.
All
say
right,
that
so
any
what are we
clearer.
talking about? We all know that the Bible says things that happened historically, but the contention is over the supernatural claims. If you're saying that you
That's
agree
not
that
my
the supernatural,
contention, though.
okay, that's my contention. My contention is that the supernatural claims are probably fake.
Hey, Count, you literally just said that you believe that Jesus is divine because he's in the book. Like, I'm not sure what you're arguing. You literally said that you do believe the divinity of Jesus, because if you accept that Jesus was a real person, you have to also accept the story of his birth. These two things are not jiving. I'm having a lot of trouble
Me too.
nailing down what your actual position is, because every time I question you on it, you change it.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I'm being
so
consistent.
all right,
I have been
so
consistent
hold,
the
all right,
entire time.
so do we need to? Okay, so you believe that Jesus was divine? Yes.
Now the conversation's once again pivoting. Do I believe Jesus was divine? Yes, I believe Jesus was divine.
Okay, I don't believe Jesus was divine, even though he may have been a real person. What proof do we have that he actually was divine?
What proof do we have? I mean, just like again, we're going to look at
The
the
consensus
census.
doesn't prove that he was divine. That doesn't prove he was divine.
I wasn't finished. If we're going to look at the census as a starter, then we need to start looking into the other things that are taking place within
None of
inside
that proves anything, bro.
Hold on, hold
What
on,
actually
hold
shows he's divine?
I'm landing the plane. Before we can even touch the New Testament, we have to go back to the book of Daniel.
No, we don't.
Hold on,
What
hold on.
actually? No, I'm not holding on. What actually proves he's divine?
Well, again, I'm explaining this to you. Okay, so
The
if
book of Daniel doesn't show anything. I know what you're gonna go to too. So-called prophecies. If you can talk to other people about the so-called prophecies that we all know that. Okay, what are we talking about then? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Okay, so there's 5 kingdoms mentioned in the book of Daniel, and Daniel 2 is a
That
matter of
doesn't show he's
fact.
divine. No. We're not
Oh,
showing that he's
Jesus
divine,
Christ.
bro. Yes, Jesus Christ. We're not showing that. None of that shows he's divine. Yes, we know
Why
that the
don't you let
Bible
me-
says
why don't
things.
you get
We
this-
know
why don't
that
you
the
let it
Bible
develop?
says things. We know
Why
that
don't
the
you let it
Bible says
develop?
things. We know that the Bible says things that historically happened. We know that the book of Daniel says things that are historical in there. What we're talking about is the supernatural claims. How do we actually show
I'm answering your
that?
question.
No, the book of Daniel doesn't do that. How do
Yes,
we
it
actually?
does.
No, it doesn't. How do we actually show that
How
Jesus
does it
walked
not?
on? How do we actually show that Jesus walked on water? That he was a son of God that died for our sins, or that God even exists in the first place? How does the book of Daniel doesn't do that? The
Yes,
book
it
of
does.
Daniel is a bunch of claims. Now it
No,
makes some
no.
historical facts in there, like the 5 kingdoms you're mentioning, Greece and the other ones in Persia. I
What's
think
the
it
fifth
mentions in
kingdom?
there. I don't
What's
know. I
the fifth
forgot.
kingdom?
I don't know. But what I'm talking about is that these kingdoms or whatever, they don't show anyone's divine. They're just kingdoms.
I'm trying to let it develop, my guy. So
I don't
the
need
issue is-
development. How does it show he's divine?
I'm clearly trying to answer your question, but you keep interrupting me. Okay, so again, going to what Nebuchadnezzar's dream was, right? He's the one that had the dream about this kingdom that nobody knew anything about.
So,
So
Hey,
if
you know what?
haven't
I had a dream last night that you were making stuff up. Is that real?
So Daniel, so you're saying Daniel made it up? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
Yeah,
saying
probably.
that
You know why?
Answer the question.
You know why? You know why? You know why he
don't
made it
mean
up?
anything.
You know why? Like, number one, dreams don't mean anything, and number two,
Actually, they
Daniel.
do.
No,
According
they
to
don't.
Young,
Number
they
two,
do.
and number two, Daniel was written at a time that was after Jesus, and archaeological evidence can show that because of the way that it's written.
Wait, Daniel was written after Jesus?
Yeah.
No, Daniel was
Yes.
written. Daniel is the one that wrote the entire book of Daniel.
He
But on
didn't.
top of that, it was written before that.
He didn't.
How do you figure he didn't?
Archaeology says he didn't. Daniel didn't write
Okay,
Daniel.
who's the archaeologist that says that? Who says that? Who's the archaeologist that says that?
My ass.
Oh, that's the. See, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
This is what I'm
it's
saying. This
exactly
is what I'm
as-
saying.
it's
This is exactly your
as
argument.
credible as this dream that was written in a storybook. Like, you have to bring. Look, I understand that you're trying to use the Bible to prove the Bible, but that's exactly the same thing as plugging a power strip into itself and expecting the power to work. You need to bring some outside.
It's going to do that. It's going to
sources.
actually do that. Have you ever done that?
Yeah,
Have you ever
and it
have you
doesn't
ever
work.
stuck a power source
Jesus
inside of a power strip?
fucking
Yeah, it works.
Christ.
I'm sorry that you're having hard time with
Holy
this, Cricket.
shit.
I really am.
Holy
Oh
shit. My goodness.
Bolsey, is this dude for real?
I don't think
Like-
he is.
like,
He,
for
he,
real,
you
for
gotta
real?
be trolling me, bro.
You're playing
You gotta be
He's
trolling me, bro.
mathematics.
Okay, hold on. Because on a real tip, I was just trolling before. On a real tip, Nebuchadnezzar having a dream does not prove Jesus is the Son of God. It doesn't.
I did not say it did.
That's what I was asking you. So why'd you
And
go
I
to
answered
Daniel?
your question.
No, you didn't. I asked you. What shows
I
Jesus
was
was divine?
trying to let it
Hold on, stop.
develop, man. I was trying to
I
let it
don't
develop.
need anything to develop. I need evidence that Jesus was the Son of God. Daniel doesn't have that.
If you can't present evidence cleanly and succinctly, we don't need for you to finish doing your weave and going 15 different places to prove what you think is the point. The Bible is a claim. The entire Bible is a claim. It is not proof of anything any more than my Spider-Man comics are proof of Spider-Man. You have to use something outside of that to prove what's in it.
Why would I have to go to an
Hey,
outside?
Bible Man NC, how
Because
come you
that's
dropped out?
how proof works.
Yeah, that's how
No,
evidence
that's not
works.
how. So you mean
Hold
to tell
on.
me I
So
need
so construction. Let me ask you a question.
Crash
Does
out.
Peter Parker exist?
crashing out?
Does Peter Parker exist?
Peter Parker's not a historical figure.
Yeah, he is. He's
Sure
a
he is.
historical
No,
figure.
he's not.
Sure, he is.
No,
Sure
he's
he
not.
is.
Spider-Man
No,
number
he's
one
not.
says so. Spider-Man number one
No,
says
he's
so.
not. No, he's
Spider-Man
not.
number one says so.
He's not a historical figure.
But Spider-Man number
Yes,
one
he
says
is.
so.
I
Yes,
No,
he
read
is.
he's
it.
not.
I absolutely
I've
know
read
it's
it.
not.
I've
It's
read it in
100%.
Spider-Man. I've read it in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man number one, it says that Peter Parker is real.
Hey,
both of you are
Do
crashing
you
out.
do you
Hey,
understand? Do you understand
hard.
what we're trying to say? Oh, yeah. Everybody pause. Everybody pause.
You're
Real talk.
crashing out
Okay.
hard.
Shut up real quick. Everybody pause real quick. Do you understand exactly what we're trying to say here, constructionists? Simply saying that this book says so doesn't make it true. So when I asked you before, how do we show that Jesus was the Son of God? Nebuchadnezzar had a dream is not proof that Jesus had a Son of God.
I
That's
didn't
not
get the.
evidence.
I didn't get. The, I didn't get.
I
the-
don't
did
need
not
anything to
get it
develop for you.
developed.
I don't need that.
I'm
Evidence.
sorry, then you-
Give me a
then-
piece of
I
evidence.
was literally
Give
doing
me a
that.
piece of evidence.
I was literally doing that.
That's no,
And
you
kept
weren't. No, you
interrupting.
weren't. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream is not evidence.
That wasn't the evidence, though.
What is it then? Give it to me.
Say
Okay,
quickly.
Okay, so with inside that dream, there's a fifth kingdom. That's the entire Christianity. See how easy that was?
Okay.
If you have a problem,
All right,
it's-
guys. So, Bible Man
Jesus
NC.
Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right, Bible
That
Man
was wild.
NC. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Do you
Cricket.
deal with this? Do you deal with this every single night? I
This
need to
is
be on
what
your
I
lives
deal
more
with.
often.
This is what I deal with. This is what I deal with. Yeah, you should be going live a lot more often, like, cause this
well,
is what
I
I
need to be
deal
going
with.
live with you because this is hilarious.
Hilariously bad.
He was so freaking delusional. I don't think Jesus is divine. Wait, no, I do think Jesus is divine. No, wait, I can prove it with the Bible. No, wait, I can. There was a dream. What?
Nebuchadnezzar,
And literally
the
everything
fifth
this guy
kingdom.
said.
Jesus fucking Christ. The fifth kingdom, it proves that Jesus was the Son of God. No, it fucking
It was-
doesn't.
No, it proves that there's a fire nation. Come on.
That's exactly what it proves. It doesn't prove that. It proves that Aang was the Avatar come to save the world. Hey, Bible Man
Exactly.
NC, go ahead and come on up because you've been crashing out in the comments for the past 30 minutes. You also came up and then you dropped all the way back down. Go ahead and come on up. Yeah, constructionist, you didn't cook nothing. You burnt it, bro. Yeah, you burnt the food. Gordon Ramsay will be very, very angry at you right now because it was raw. It was fucking raw. Oh, bad. Yeah, Cricket, this is what I deal with every night. Every single night.
Love it,
Ooh,
love it.
Lord. Yeah, absolutely
But
love
he
it.
was these theories that he was sitting there talking about as far as like the Exodus and Moses and all this other stuff. I've heard these before. I heard them from people like David Barton, who was drummed out of every historical society he was ever in for being so. It's not just that he was factually inaccurate; he was just freaking lying.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was the guy that goes around with the founding fathers were Christian nonsense and like teaches that to impressionable little Christians. And then all this other stuff about, oh well, you have to look at this parchment and you have to look at this, and you know the pyramids were built by Egypt by Hebrews, all this stuff. It's I know where he's getting it from because I've heard that all my life, and it is absolute nonsense. And the only way that you can see that it's absolute nonsense is by taking 3 steps back from your religion and going, okay, I need to look at this with new eyes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most people are unwilling to do that because when you realize what's up, it's very, very painful.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Cricket, you do have a fan over in my YouTube chat. Panda asks, or actually not Panda, Wild Willie asks if you have a YouTube because he said that
I do.
yeah, he said every single time that he tried to interrupt you constantly because every single time you would talk, he would interrupt because you would be exposing everything he's saying as bullshit, essentially.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do have a YouTube. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it up and going. I haven't done a whole lot of like cross-platforming, but it's my username, Cricket Shay.
Yeah, I gotta
I'm the same thing on YouTube.
gotcha. I gotta subscribe to that one too. I might do that right now. As a matter of fact,
There's not a whole lot on there right now. I'm working on it.
all good, all good. Yeah, I have some stuff on there. I've been trying to get my YouTube up there and monetize, and yeah, it's been a ride, but. All right, y'all. So we are at 12K people. I mean, we're at 12K likes, 45 people in here. I appreciate all the gifts. W Cricket, definitely. Y'all go ahead and follow Cricket. I appreciate you, Issa, for becoming a subscriber. Please subscribe to me if you like me to do this. Hopefully, TikTok doesn't die on Saturday, and I can keep on making these. I really like to have these conversations. So right now, my schedule, y'all, is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's when I'll be going. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm sorry. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. That's when I'm going live from 8 to 10 o'clock. It's actually about to be 10:30 right now. Let me go ahead and get off because my wife is pregnant and she needs her feet rubbed, and I got to get her some tea. And I'm off tomorrow, and I got to clean this whole house while she kicks up her feet. I appreciate you all being here. Cricket, definitely come through anytime you can. I do these Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 8 to 10 o'clock if you have time. All right.
Yeah, I'm good. It was good talking with you, man. This is fun.
Yeah, these are fun. These are definitely fun. I appreciate you. Hold on. Yeah, I'm coming, babe. I'm coming. Don't worry.
You're a good man.
Yeah, no, she I gotta go ahead and take care of her, you know. Oh, speaking of that, I showed you in the Discord what I want to do soon, right?
Yeah, you did, and I think it is going to be amazing because Count that was like completely crashing out earlier. This is going to be so much more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is going to be so much more. Hold on. Let me show y'all the idea that I got. Lords, you're gonna love this. How's it going, Lords? You're gonna love this idea that I got next. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna bring it up. I just gotta go ahead and take this off. But I got an idea that's gonna have the all the incel bros crashing out. You know what I mean? Here it is right here.
Real quick, do you do politics on here at all?
Yeah, I definitely do politics. I do politics as well.
Okay, it looks like what's her name, Susan Crawford in Wisconsin, the Supreme Court justice that Elon Musk was trying to buy votes to vote against her. She just won. They just called it.
She won?
She won.
Yes.
So
yes.
suck it, Elon.
Suck it, Elon. Yes. But yeah, this right here, y'all, is what I'm gonna be doing next. I hope you have to see that positive masculinity. I'm gonna be doing that next because there needs to be a space for the men's to heal. All right, there needs to be a space for the men's to heal for us to get better, and we need more spaces that are not red pill, more spaces that are not incel adjacent, more spaces that are not red pill adjacent for men to actually come together and heal because we actually do have issues that we need to talk about in our community. There's a reason why we have a loneliness epidemic, y'all. There's a reason why we have that. It's not because the feminists or the women don't want to talk to us. They don't want to talk to us because of the bullshit that we've been doing. All right, so we need to go ahead and like what I've always said is that masculinity does not have to be misogynistic. It does not have to be patriarchal. We can deconstruct from all these things. You know what I mean? Like we have to, when we talk about emotional intelligence, discipline, compassion, these are things that my father taught me. And he never taught me to view a woman's role as subordinate to mine. You know what I mean? We don't have to believe in these things. Daniel, masculinity in itself can be a positive thing, but there are expectations on masculinity that can make it negative, and that's what toxic masculinity is. Masculinity in of itself does not have to be negative. But too many men out there are making it negative, and that's what we need to deconstruct from. But that's what I have.
Yeah,
next.
I mean, just in my opinion, as a woman, masculinity is not wrong, and I don't think anybody's against masculinity. It's more about we're a little upset and fighting against like weaponized masculinity or the type of masculinity that hurts people. And it doesn't just hurt women, it hurts the men who are being enforced into this role of, weaponized masculinity because you're not allowed to deviate from that.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a video the other day of how stoicism became a religion for immature men. And like it's an amazing video I'm gonna watch again because like this whole idea of becoming, stoic, they thinking that stoicism is all about, basically what's that called? Like suppressing your emotions and feelings. That's not even what Stoicism is about. You know what I mean? It's all about just being prudent, being aware and thinking of what you do before you act out emotionally, which is what everyone should do. You know what I mean? That's not even a man thing. Everyone should be like, women shouldn't be, these sobbing, blubbering things all the time either. Of course. You know what I mean? We just have to be more mature and understand our emotions and not suppress them all the time, which is what these red pill spaces are teaching young men to do. To think about women in certain ways that they should be thinking about. But yeah, that's definitely what I want to talk about next. All right, we're definitely gonna be
Well,
Go ahead.
I can tell you that as a woman, I will stay out of your space because you guys need a place that you can be safe together. So that's not my place. So I'll stay out of those. But if you ever do want a woman's opinion, I'm here. Or if you need to talk to the fish to try to figure out how to catch the other fish, let me know. So
Definitely.
But I'm going to drop out. Boz, it was awesome talking to you. I'll be back on more. Okay.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much.
All right.
All right, y'all. W Cricket. Make sure y'all follow her. All right. All right, John. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Just preparing the path of the Lord, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm assuming that you disagree with what I have on the board, correct?
Well, not necessarily. I think there isn't any good evidence for him except for me.
All right. So you're the evidence that there's a God?
Yes.
All right. How so?
Well, he picked me.
You trolling me right now, John?
No, sir.
I think you sure you're not trolling me right now?
I'm sure.
All right. So God picked you, therefore God exists?
Yes.
You realize that's circular, right?
And?
All righty. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here pretty soon. I'm already about an hour and a half over not hour and a half, but 30 minutes over what I wanted to do. Daniel, excuse me. Hey, Daniel, come back when I do the Positive Masculinity Hour. Go ahead and follow me. I'm going to be doing Positive Masculinity Hour. I'm preparing to do that probably next month. All right. I'm probably going to be doing that in May. I'll do Positive Masculinity Hour, Daniel, okay? So go ahead and come back and when I do that, and we can definitely talk about it more, okay? All right, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate y'all. My subject tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Thursday. My subject Thursday will be this. I'm going to have this up on the board. Why should I believe in your God? If you are a believer, I would definitely like to know why I should believe in your God. This week, we're doing religion. Next week will be politics. So follow me if you want to be here next week. Next week, this would be my subject. I'm going to be talking to the conservatives, and we're going to be asking conservatives, why are these things bad? So make sure y'all come here next week. I do these every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. We got 13K likes in here. I appreciate that. 33 people at the end, and everyone on my YouTube. Panda, I appreciate you. Ding Dong, I appreciate you. Willie, I appreciate you. V, I appreciate you. Child Free, I appreciate you. Everyone who was over on my my YouTube, my Black Atheist YouTube, my channel Volsy Thoughts. I appreciate all y'all for being here. I appreciate everyone who was on my Twitch who talked to me. Oh, I do got a typo. I gotta fix that. Hey man, I appreciate that. Appreciate for pointing that out. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that right now. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Next week we're gonna be talking to conservatives about this. On Thursday, the subject again will be that either there is no good evidence for a God, or why should I believe in your God? Those are some good ones. We're going to be talking about those next Thursday. I appreciate y'all. We will see y'all soon. Yeah, Ding Dong, I saw that too. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.